It's Friday, March 27th. Today, tension in the chamber. What City Councillor Russ Wyatt had to say at Council's first meeting since being charged with sexual assault, and reaction from his colleagues. Also, social prescribing for seniors. How an initiative to connect seniors to a wide range of resources and programs is helping to build social engagement with their communities. Plus, talent on display. Why a First Nations science fair is unlocking the potential for future innovation from hundreds of students across the province. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning and happy Friday, Manitoba. Thanks for being with us. We were just singing the Friday song, Rebecca Black. So, of course, we got to get it celebrated in style.
Rebecca Black.
I mean, that's beside the point, but we'll be playing it all morning. Yeah, we're so excited for today's show because there's a lot on the go. I think a lot of parents are very excited, too, because, well, maybe not. Kids are excited. Parents are maybe a little concerned because spring break is next week. What are we going to do with these kids all week? If you don't really know, if you don't have your plans covered, Ainsley McPhail once again has another great idea. She's spending the morning at the Manitoba Children's Museum. I love it there. It's the best.
It is fun.
Yeah, it's great. So we're going to get details on what they have planned for kids of all ages. That's coming up all throughout the show. Terry, I'm happy to say I was just complaining, griping yesterday. It was awful, but it got a lot better.
Your mood was a little bit something.
I know. I was really blaming you for it, Terry. I was holding you to account, so.
Oh, my goodness. I had the worst attitude, Catherine. Listen, it's what happens this time of year when you're just so ready for spring and it's not showing up. That's not how we get our way, by complaining. Anyway, we will start to see some improvements, just not today, unfortunately. So -11 is where we begin, and it feels like -18. And those winds at the moment, they're out of the west, 14 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, and the humidity is sitting at 90%. It is going to be another cold, below seasonal day, waking up once again to fresh snow on the ground. Yes, a little more fell through the overnight hours. We should see that tapering off and then eventually clearing out. So with a pattern very similar to what we saw yesterday, and the temperatures almost every bit as cold. So there you can see we're still dealing with the heavier clouds in the satellite image, and the Futurecast shows that bit of flurry activity that is still possible here through the south, but even parts of northern Manitoba might see a little bit. There will be some sunshine, though, especially as the day goes on. It clears out quite drastically here across southern Manitoba. Northern Manitoba might still deal with a little bit of lingering activity. That'll take you right into the weekend, whereas here we're looking at clear conditions today. A few more clouds could be passing through into the evening, overnight hours, and then clearing out again for tomorrow, so back to the sunshine. Meanwhile, northern Manitoba could still be seeing, especially in that far northeast, some lingering activity with some snow. Now, as far as temperatures go, today still well below seasonal. +4 is now normal for this time of year. We won't get anywhere near it today, but at least cracking the freezing mark tomorrow. Still not quite those seasonal temperatures, though, as we look ahead to next week.
Thanks, Terry. A defiant Russ Wyatt arrived at City Hall on Thursday for his first council meeting since being charged with sexual assault. A move making it clear the city councillor is not taking the mayor's advice to step aside. And despite some tough questions from members of the media, the councillor kept his cool, appearing unfazed by the serious allegations against him. CTV's Jeff Keel was at City Hall to witness it all and captured reaction from Wyatt's colleagues.
Councillor, why are you here today, sir?
Excuse me, I'm going to my council meeting.
Despite pleas for him not to show up, embattled Transcona City Councillor Russ Wyatt arrived for City Council's monthly meeting a day after police announced he'd been charged with drugging and sexually assaulting a man. Wyatt directed all questions to his lawyer.
I ask you to talk to my attorney. Thanks, guys.
On Wednesday, the mayor urged Wyatt to step away from office while he deals with the charges. Gillingham reiterated that call again Thursday.
My recommendation is the councillor step away to deal with a serious matter that is before him.
And other councillors also expressed displeasure that Wyatt was there, calling his presence a distraction.
I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed in Councillor Wyatt. It's just unfortunate that, this incident is sidelining, the news of the day.
Still, the meeting went on as usual, but when Wyatt stood to speak on other issues, City Councillor Cindy Gilroy turned her back to him as a form of silent protest.
Yep, it's a message.
8 years ago, when Wyatt was charged with sexual assault, a charge which was stayed, Gilroy then pushed for mandatory paid leave for councillors facing serious criminal charges. But it went nowhere over human rights concerns. Now she says council should have the discretion to suspend a member with pay pending the outcome of a criminal matter, a change the province would have to allow for.
I'm very uncomfortable with the situation. I want to make sure I'm making a stance so that I'm supporting the many victims out there and the people in the room that maybe do not feel comfortable with the presence.
And while council does have the authority to boot councillors from committees, they can't remove them from office under these circumstances. But voters in Transcona can. This drama surrounding Wyatt comes in an election year.
I think they have to review who they're electing. I mean, this is the second charge that this councillor has had.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
On Wednesday, Wyatt's lawyer said his client is innocent. The allegations against Wyatt have not been proven in court, so Wyatt is presumed innocent. Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada isn't done yet after hitting NATO's 2% spending target.
Over the next decade, Canada will unleash $500 billion. I'll repeat, $500 billion in defense and defense-related investment.
The Prime Minister was speaking yesterday after announcing $3 billion in new infrastructure and defense spending for Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. This spending will include items like new submarines, aircraft, drones, radar, and other equipment. And even after spending more than $60 billion on defense last year, Canada's military remains short about 15,000 soldiers. Looking ahead, Canada will need to spend more to meet NATO's new target of 5% of GDP. U.S. President Donald Trump is once again airing his disappointment over a lack of support from NATO.
We'll come to their rescue, but they will never come to ours. And I want you to remember that we said this. They didn't come to our rescue.
Speaking during a cabinet meeting at the White House, Trump says he has long viewed NATO as a, quote, paper tiger, arguing that while the United States consistently defends its allies, the commitment has not been reciprocated. He also renewed complaints about defense spending, saying allies have failed to meet financial commitments despite U.S. pressure to increase contributions. Meantime, this morning, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in France to take part in the G7 foreign ministers meeting. There, he'll try to convince the other nations on the U.S. strategy for the Iran conflict. And President Trump does, however, appear to be hopeful that a deal to end the war is possible. He's now extended the deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz by 10 days, threatening to bomb crucial power plants if Iran doesn't comply. Iran denies any talks have been held, but acknowledges it's been trading messages with the U.S. through Pakistan. We now know what brought Winnipeg police to a house in Osborne Village Wednesday morning. Roslyn Road was closed by Osborne Street as the Guns and Gangs unit teamed up with the Tactical Support Team to execute a pair of search warrants on a home and a vehicle. They found a loaded handgun, a small amount of ammunition, more than $1,200, as well as heroin, cocaine, fentanyl, and methamphetamine. The illicit drugs have an estimated street value of more than $500,000. The 37-year-old man is charged with possession of a scheduled substance for the purpose of trafficking, as well as possession of a firearm and possession of property obtained by crime under $5,000. A 36-year-old woman is also facing drug trafficking charges. 2 other people were released without charges. If you're looking to spend time with your family during spring break, the province is encouraging everyone to get outside and explore. On Thursday, the province announced Manitobans can enjoy free fishing and free entry to provincial parks from March 27th to April 5th. They say Manitobans and visitors can fish without an angling license in the province. Anglers will still be required to follow all possession limits and size restrictions. Federal angling licenses will still be required in national parks. Anglers are reminded to exercise caution when fishing on ice and check conditions before heading out for safety. An Australian dog known as a hero and a very good boy is hanging up his collar. cutie. Bear, the 11-year-old Australian coolie, is credited with saving more than 100 koalas from wildfires. He is now retiring after a decade of service. He was one of the first dogs to be trained on the scent of koala fur to help protect them during wildfire season. His handlers say he's retiring to a life of belly rubs and playing fetch. I'll say he's earned it. All right, Confusion Corner, pretty quiet early on in this morning, as to be expected. Roads look to be in decent shape. Meanwhile, if you have any issues or traffic tips to share, you can always text them to us at 10400. Saying good morning and a happy Friday to our own Ainsley McPhail, spending the morning at the Manitoba Children's Museum. I love it there, Ainsley. It's the best.
Oh, good morning. And what a perfect opportunity to come next week for spring break if you're looking for something for the kids to do. A little sidebar, too. The Children's Museum celebrating 40 years this year, and they've got tons of activities on tap for that for this coming year. But first, here's a bit of the lineup. So they've got Lego builders, they've got Let's Talk Science, CPAWS, Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society, doing a nature activity, Fit Kids, Healthy Kids, and even some graffiti programming. Coming up in the 6 and 7 o'clock hours, we're going to do tons of activities here. I believe that there's a little bit of an explosion, a pine cone owl, and I'm not going to give away too much because I can't give away all the fun.
It does look like a lot of fun down there. Thanks for that, Ainsley. Jealous of your assignment this morning. I'm not as jealous as yours, Terry, but it's looking and felt a lot better this morning than yesterday. So let's take the wins.
Okay, and as I said yesterday, I believe, if this was December, if this is the first snowfall of this season, this is actually a very pretty snowfall. The flakes, they're kind of light and just swirling around out here. The winds are fairly light. The temperatures, I mean, again, if this was December, January, would be like, this isn't so bad. The fact is, April rolls in next weekend, and we are well below seasonal. Normal lows would be about -7. Here we are sitting at -11 this morning, and it feels more like -18 with that wind. It's out of the west. It's 14 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, and the humidity sitting at 90%. But what I will say that I like about seeing the snow is that at least everything looks crisp and clean again, because one of my biggest pet peeves about spring is how dirty everything looks and how gray and brown as the piles of snow are melting. Well, those piles might be growing through the morning. They certainly were growing last night as the snow continued. But this snow will taper off. We will see some sunshine later on today. It's just not going to really move the needle where we want it to as far as temperatures go, but it gets a little warmer for the weekend. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
Research has shown social engagement can help reduce the risk of stroke, heart disease, depression, and dementia, which is why social prescribing has taken off all around the world, including here in Manitoba. It is an initiative to connect seniors to a wide range of resources and programs in their communities. CTV's Daniel Halmerson explains.
Kathy Domingo lives alone and doesn't have a lot of family around. She says her quiet life was starting to feel quite lonely. And that was before she was diagnosed with a visual impairment.
And after that happened, I became isolated and withdrawn and very depressed. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to cook or clean.
Domingo shared how she was feeling with her doctor, who took a different approach than expected. It's called social prescribing, a way to connect people experiencing isolation, especially seniors, to community resources, programming, and other people in the same boat.
Help people to maintain their independence and stay in their own homes, but primarily focus on that connection, belonging, purpose, meaning in somebody's life.
Social prescribing has been available in Manitoba for about 2 years now. Doctors refer patients to resource coordinators in their communities who help identify wants and needs.
Find out where they're at, what it is that they need, what are they looking for, what kind of losses, transitions, changes are they experiencing.
Domingo was connected to the Transcona Council for Seniors, and she's since become a mainstay at weekly lunches and monthly dinners. And she's even started taking classes on how to cook for one.
And they were very, very good. It was very good to go to that, and then you got to eat the food after.
I'd hope so. Domingo says the program's enriched her life. She says she looks forward to activities and seeing people she now considers her friends.
You get to feeling not so alone. like that you're not on your own. It doesn't feel as bad as it did before.
Daniel Halmerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Social prescribing is available in all Manitoba health regions. All you have to do is ask your doctor for a referral, or you can refer yourself. The best way to connect with a resource coordinator is by calling 211. Winnipeg City Councillors have allowed a plan to improve safety on Wellington Crescent to move forward with some amendments.
This amendment puts the simplest and most immediate steps that were left out of the Public Works discussion and the EPC discussion, those immediate steps back in. And that's why it should give this council comfort.
The amended motion directs the public service to find a consultant to draw up plans for a permanent bike lane solution for Wellington Crescent using feedback from the public. And while it doesn't include plans for a pilot or interim infrastructure, it will see the speed limit lowered to 40 kilometers an hour on Wellington from Academy Road to River Avenue, along with stretches of River Avenue and Stradbrook Avenue. Another clause, which would have restricted left turns at several intersections, did not pass. Liberal MP Michael Ma is now apologizing over what he's calling a misunderstanding.
You claim about forced labor in Shenzhen. Have you witnessed this yourself? Have you been there ever?
I've been to China many times.
Have you witnessed?
It happened during a hearing on Beijing's human rights record. Ma's comments appear to cast doubt on reports of forced labor in China, asking the expert whether she has seen the forced labor with her own eyes.
I looked around at the rest of the committee as if to say, is he kidding? Nobody can go from the West and see forced labor in China. They would not give you access.
In a statement, Ma says he was asking about automobile manufacturing in Shenzhen, but his remarks were misheard as referring to Xinjiang, which is known for its forced labor. Ma has since apologized, saying, quote, "I asked questions that inadvertently came across as dismissive of the serious issue of forced labor. I regret this mistake and apologize." Ma also says he condemns forced labor in all its forms. Ma crossed the floor to the Liberals in December and joined Prime Minister Mark Carney's caucus on an official trip to Beijing in January. Gimli's Carrie Anerson is shaking up her rink days after losing to Switzerland at the World Women's Curling Championship. The team announced it's parting ways with longtime third Val Sweeting. That's her second from the left, along with coach Reid Carruthers and alternate Kristen Karwacki. Sweeting joined the team at its formation ahead of the 2018-29 season and helped it win 5 Canadian titles. Carruthers, who retired as a player earlier this year, has coached Anerson's team since 2022. They won 3 of their national titles during that span. Karwacki joined in 2021 and filled in as the team's lead after Brianne Harris was handed a doping suspension in 2024. Harris was later cleared but didn't rejoin the team. An animal rescue society in northern BC is sharing a successful rescue story. This little guy was found near Kamloops on Sunday. Some people living in the area made the discovery and monitored him overnight. They eventually called the Northern Lights Wildlife Society. The Wildlife Society says the 3-pound male cub will now stay with them until spring of next year. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. Sutherland Avenue will be closed intermittently today between Derby and Yard Street. Following the rush, the westbound curb lane on Notre Dame Avenue will be closed from Cape to Furby Street. And the eastbound curb lane on Grant Avenue will be closed from Stafford to Lilac Street. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
A look now through the Bathfitter Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. All right, fresh snow all over the ground this morning. Everything looks looking clean, pristine, a nice clean white slate to kick off your Friday morning. We will probably see things getting dirty and messy and slushy again by the time the weekend rolls around, and we're looking at some milder temperatures. But for today, expect things to remain a little bit cold, a little bit closer to what we were experiencing throughout the day yesterday, with the fresh snow through the morning and then clearing as the day goes on. -11, that's where many of us are sitting through the the southeast right now. A little bit cooler over in Brandon, -13 to begin the day. Those mid-minus teens all throughout central Manitoba, and then into the high minus teens, low -20s, or for Churchill, high -20s. Once again, you've been dealing with the chill in that far northeast, and wind chill values making it feel like -39. Here in the south, the winds aren't anywhere near as strong or having too much of an impact. I mean, -18, you'll notice that. I mean, it's going to be a cold day today and well below seasonal, but we should start to see those improvements, like I said, by the time the weekend rolls around. So here you can see that little bit of lingering activity, the flurries right over Winnipeg, or Portage La Prairie, a little bit over Winnipeg as well. We will see that tapering off, and then the sky clearing, increasing amounts of sunshine to carry us through the day. By the time kids are coming home from school, we'll have reached a high of about -7, with -6 being our expected high temperature into the supper time hour. Now, overnight, things will be clouding over a little bit, but then clearing through the day Saturday with sunshine through the weekend and those plus-digit temperatures, not for long. You can see with a round of precipitation Monday, we'll notice those temperatures dropping off a little bit into the start of next week. And look who is having fun, and I think maybe this is our reminder that the snow isn't so bad after all. This is little Deeks out there having the best time ever in the fresh snow. Thanks to Terry for the photo. Keep them coming to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca, and we'll see you right after this break.
Get ready to join some of your favorite pups. Paw Patrol Live, A Mighty Adventure, is coming to the Centennial Concert Hall on April 4th with 3 performances, 10:30 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5:30 p.m. And this is your last chance to win a pass for 4 in a Your Morning Winnipeg contest. The live stage performance follows favorite characters in the animated preschool series Paw Patrol. The rescue dogs must face off against a supervillain scientist who places the city's biggest party in danger. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca. Don't forget to enter the keyword adventure. Good luck. The next Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, or Steve Jobs could be right here in Winnipeg. On Thursday, hundreds of students from across the province crammed into the Victoria Inn for the annual Manitoba First Nations Education Resource Centre Schools Science Fair. CTV's John Hendricks was there and checked out some of the amazing projects.
Some people use glass containers to store leftovers. Grade 9 student DeMarcus Belanger from Bloodvein First Nation used his to build a remotely operated underwater vehicle. It even has a built-in camera.
First started off by coding the Arduino, and then I did the wiring.
Belanger didn't just create this invention for fun. It's his entry in the annual Manitoba First Nations Education Resource Centre School Science Fair.
Our students are really blending both mainstream science with traditional knowledge and culture.
The students showed off research projects that covered everything from microplastics in the environment to the growth rate of fish in the north. One team built a thermal blanket out of potato chip packages.
It's the same material used in emergency blankets, such as like Mylar aligned with aluminum.
It failed me, bro. It failed me. Wait, no, it didn't.
Officials say these projects are enhancing the students' understanding of science and building their self-esteem and respect for their own culture at the same time.
It's about being confident and being a contributing citizen, especially for your community first and then to the wider society.
That is certainly DeMarcus Belanger's goal for his ROV, who says it can be used as a cheaper alternative to underwater vehicles.
I feel like everyone should know what's in our water, how much debris, what kind of aquatic life there is in the water.
And using his invention, they'll be able to find out. John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
And we're told the top 4 projects will go on to the Canada-wide Science Fair. It is being held in Edmonton in May. A live look now at Portage Avenue around Polo Park. Starting to pick up in terms of activity. I think folks looking to get work over with for their Friday. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. We've got lots more to come on Your Morning Winnipeg.
light flurries are still falling out there this morning. Yes, again, second day in a row that we're waking up to fresh snow. It's -11, that is well below seasonal, but the breeze is on the lighter side today at 14 kilometers per hour out of the west. Now, it does still make it feel like -18. You're going to want to bundle up this morning. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 90%. It does look nice and clean out there. Fresh round of snow to take away, not to take away, but to at least cover up all of the dirt. A bit of a Band-Aid, if you ask me, because by the time the weekend rolls around and we're getting some milder temperatures, things are probably going to look pretty messy and dirty and slushy once again. But I suppose we don't mind that. It's better than the alternative of dealing with winter for days on end. There's the last bit of the flurry activity showing up in the satellite image. That should taper off, clearing out, making way for some sunshine. It's just not going to warm us up anywhere near close to what is normal for this time of year, with +4 being a seasonal daytime high. -6 is likely as good as it'll get, and that'll be for later on into the afternoon or almost around supper time. Now tonight, after it clears today, we'll see a few more clouds building up, dropping down to -10, but clearing out again for tomorrow. Some slightly warmer temperatures expected. We could crack the freezing mark, not quite to the seasonal 4 degrees, but hey, at this point, anything is an improvement. Staying above the freezing mark Sunday, still with some sunshine to enjoy, but slipping a little bit next week. Another round of precipitation and slightly cooler temperatures to follow that.
Thanks, Terry. Sentencing for the man who just pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the 2007 killing of a Manitoba Métis woman is being held over until later today. 44-year-old Kevin Q was set to be sentenced Thursday in the death of 24-year-old Crystal Saunders. However, a judge ordered it be postponed until today, as Saunders' mother indicated she wanted to enter in a victim impact statement, but didn't have one prepared. Q was arrested in 2024 and was originally charged with second-degree murder. The case had gone cold for years, but court heard a break came in 2015 after Q was convicted in a sexual assault case, which led to his DNA being entered into a national bank. Both the Crown and defense are recommending a 12-year sentence. Winnipeg City Council has voted in favor of a motion to petition the province to amend the Highway Traffic Act and allow it to set its own default speed limit. It's the first step before any future conversation can happen about whether or not to lower speed limits and by how much. The Premier has indicated the city can already lower speed limits if it wants. However, it would require street-by-street changes and new signage, which would cost millions of dollars, something the mayor says he's not interested in doing. Truckers across the country are warning about diesel costs. John Vanavelli-Rao breaks down the impact surging oil prices are having on the trucking industry and how it could soon start to affect the price of products.
For truckers across the country, as they pump pricey diesel into their trucks, the numbers are numbing to look at.
Diesel prices are going very high. It's like huge difference.
At Toronto-based CSA Transportation, they move all sorts of products from clothes to health supplements from its terminals to cities across the country and into the U.S.
Yep, these are all going to be filled up.
The VP of Operations, Rebecca Herbsch, showed us some of the trailers ready to be loaded. And with the price of diesel surging, she says the trucking companies they partner with have been charging them a lot more.
They want to raise their rates. They want a fuel surcharge. Some of them are charging 40, 50, 60, 70. We even saw 80% fuel surcharge one day.
Herbsch says after holding off, her company raised its freight rates on Monday, though hasn't yet passed on the full costs of rising fuel to customers. Still, she says if the war continues and diesel stays high, consumers will soon see the result when items hit store shelves.
It means that the cost of products is going to go up. The more that vendors have to pay us to move their goods, especially cross-border, the more that we're going to be paying for goods.
And for those truckers who pay their own fuel bills, the soaring price is hitting hard. The cost to fill up a truck like this that holds about 1,000 liters of diesel has gone up around $700 since the start of the war. Benit Puri owns 4 trucks and says his fuel costs have gone up around $4,000 a month.
Need to have prices down, man. Just give us a break.
He says his credit cards are getting maxed and wants to see governments cut taxes on diesel.
We're driving trucks. We're providing food. I work for Walmart, right? My company works for Walmart, and we deliver up north, right? So, I mean, we are struggling 24/7. If they can give us some discount on that, some relief on that, that would be great.
With those in the trucking business worried fuel prices will go even higher and warning it will show up in just about everything. John Vanavelli-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Former Manitoba Premier Brian Pallister was honored on Thursday with the unveiling of his legislative portrait.
Taller than me.
Pallister was all smiles for the big unveiling in the legislature. The former premier says he had a custom background near Portage La Prairie chosen in the painting to reflect his hometown and the Assiniboine River. In April 2016, Pallister led the PCs to a majority government and was re-elected for a second term in 2019. Pallister stepped down from the party in October 2021. He says seeing the portrait come to life meant a great deal to his Manitoban roots.
Assiniboine's Manitoba's river, and I want it to be outside, so it is the first premier's portrait that was done outside of this building, and that's out of respect for the people outside of this building, the people who built the province.
Pallister says he's taking time in retirement to travel, read history books, and focus on his health. The portrait was painted by renowned Canadian artist Andrew Valco. Think of this as a thermometer for the planet. A UK company has developed an infrared satellite to create detailed heat maps of the Earth. Taking a planet's temperature is similar to taking a person's temperature. It's an important way to monitor their health. And this type of data is usually tracked by militaries, but using a satellite can help make it more accessible. Washington's iconic cherry trees reached peak bloom Thursday, drawing crowds to the tidal basin, a historic site symbolic of Japan-U.S. diplomatic ties. My apologies, folks. The more than 3,000 trees were a gift from Japan in 1912, marking an enduring symbol of amity between the nations. Taking a look at the current traffic situation, certainly no blooming cherry trees out there, but still looking a little frosty. Traffic moving along all right. Of course, it's expected to get a little hairier with rush hour, so stay tuned for that. Right now, though, let's take a look at your gas prices, shall we? The Canadian average stands at $1.72. The provincial average is at $1.66. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.67, but the lowest price in the city is $1.50. All this information is on GasBuddy.com. Heading back to the Manitoba Children's Museum just ahead. Let's see what Ainsley McPhail gets up to at 6:42. Don't go anywhere.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
A little bit of a sparkle to the air this morning as the fresh snow continues to fall. That should be tapering off later on this morning and then clearing out with the return of sunshine. A day ahead of us, very similar to yesterday, but if you remember, it was cold, and it is once again, at least well below seasonal. Minus 11 is where we start, though it feels like minus 17 with the wind factored in, a 14K wind out of the west right now with the pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 90%. So the fresh snow does at least look nice and clean. However, for the weekend, we should be seeing some improvements with the temperatures, at least getting above the freezing mark, keeping in mind that around southern Manitoba, 4 degrees would be normal. We might get to 1 or 2 degrees through Saturday, Sunday, so things will likely look a little bit messy and dirty and slushy again, but we kind of welcome that, I feel, at this point, with that idea that spring is just around the corner. The thing is, we're looking at still a week of these below seasonal temperatures, even with the slight improvements for the weekend. Another round of precipitation is quite possible early into the start of next week. Let's head on over to Ainsley right now and have her boost our spirits. Hey, Ainsley, what's going on?
Well, for all the kids watching, you only have so many hours before it's spring break. So exciting. And I've got the perfect place for you, of course, the Children's Museum. Brady Kidd is joining me now, and I swear that's really his last name. Thank you so much for being here today. You've brought an activity, one of the many that's going to be on tap.
100%. So this coming week, starting this Saturday or tomorrow, I guess, we got a bunch of activities lined up from 11 till 3. For example, we have the Lego Builders of Manitoba coming tomorrow with about 9 tables of some amazing Lego creations that kids can look at, and then some Lego to explore with. And then we also have stuff like Animal Wildlife Rehabilitation Center coming in, showing off some awesome animals, and we have some awesome crafts associated with those groups coming in.
Who doesn't love Lego? Even the adults at home love Lego. How does this one work? I thought it was paint at first.
Yeah, so we got some dabbers here. We have kind of a nice example here. We got kind of a nice Lego robot stamp that we made here a little bit earlier. But yeah, you can kind of make whatever you want with Lego. So not only building it, but then also with a stamp, you can kind of design your own stamp and make your own animal. So for example, we have the robot. We have kind of a bunny head here that you can just simply stamp on with these things here. And then you can put that on the paper, put it nice and down like that, and then look at that. We have the start of a little bunny head to make our next stamp with. So, yeah.
I think I was a different type of child because I think somebody's mom or grandmother or auntie should invite me to bingo and I'll just dab it. That's a different kind of art. B5. That's awesome.
Yeah, who needs that when you're playing bingo? Exactly. So, yeah, we got those. We got awesome animal masks as well. I believe when Canadian Parks and Wildlife Society comes, we have some awesome animal mask crafts to go with, too, ranging from moose, bears, and lions. Oh, my. We got the whole assortment here today.
And we're almost out of time, but there's activities. If art isn't your thing, there's going to be something else.
Oh, exactly. So we have a scavenger hunt going all week long. We also have, of course, with our special guests, different activities. We have gym kids coming in, as well as other physical education proponents as well. So not only do you have art during the week, but you also have that physical literacy as well.
Thank you so much. Between me, Brady, and cameraman Kenny, it's like we're on a field trip every single day. See you after the break.
A look at the early markets. The Dow Jones lost 152 points. The Nasdaq fell 122 points. The S&P index is lower. The Canadian dollar had small gains. Overseas, the Hang Seng is 95 points up, and the Nikkei dropped 230 points. Welcome back. A person has died in custody at the Winnipeg Remand Centre. Manitoba Justice is providing few details, other than to say a 25-year-old man died on Wednesday. No other information about his identity, the circumstances of his death, or why he was being detained was released, citing privacy reasons. The death has been reported to the province's chief medical examiner. A new report is highlighting the experiences of children in and aging out of the child welfare system.
At the end of the day, they never listen. They never listen to what I want. It's always, oh, we're going to put a plan into motion for you.
That failure to listen is among the gaps identified by the Youth Ambassador Advisory Squad for Manitoba's Advocate for Children and Youth. The multi-year peer-to-peer project recorded the stories of 17 participants and identified 6 main themes. Those themes are treatment and care, culturally safe care and services, learning and life skills, transitioning out of care, home, and listening. The gaps identified described a system that often failed to protect, support, prepare, and listen.
They made it clear. An effective transition out of care requires a healthy and nourishing time in care. Being a healthy adult requires a healthy childhood.
The report concludes it's now the responsibility of policymakers, caregivers, and others to act on what was shared to reimagine the child welfare system and provide a successful transition into adulthood. The federal NDP's leadership convention begins today at the RBC Convention Centre. Leadership candidate Avi Lewis hosted his final campaign rally here on Thursday evening.
It's a special night. We're going to have a big room. We're ending this campaign on a high.
Lewis's 7-month campaign finished with a rally that happened inside Knox United Church. Dozens of Manitobans attended the event, including NDP MP Leah Gazan, who has endorsed Lewis to be the party's next leader. Lewis's campaign tells CTV News the candidate has put forward a bold vision for the NDP that's focusing on confronting the cost of living crisis and delivering real solutions for the everyday emergency Canadians are living through. Ahead of the convention, Lewis says he doesn't mind if he and the federal party he is running for is overlooked by Canadians.
Something is happening underneath the surface of Canadian politics. I'm happy to be underestimated. I'm happy that people don't see the NDP coming back, but this comeback has already begun. Take a look around.
Lewis tells CTV News the NDP convention on Sunday is an exciting opportunity for the party to step out of the political wilderness, bring change and interest back to a political platform that has struggled in recent years. The Winnipeg Jets were aiming for their third win in a row at home in the race for the Western Conference playoffs as they took on the Colorado Avalanche on Thursday night.
8 points from 300 for his career. Kyle Connor to Shifley. Oh, and he scores! It's in.
Mark Shifley opened the scoring for the Jets in the first period with his team leading 33rd goal of the season. Unfortunately for Winnipeg, Nathan McKinnon had other plans, propelling the Avalanche to a 3-2 win with 2 goals of his own on the night. Shifley added 1 more goal midway through the third, but it wasn't enough. The Jets wrap up their regular season series with the Avalanche on Saturday. Puck drop in Colorado is set for 6 p.m. If you are looking to spend time with your family during spring break, the province is encouraging everyone to get outside and explore. On Thursday, the province announced Manitobans can enjoy free fishing and free entry to provincial parks from March 27th to April 5th. They say Manitobans and visitors can fish without an angling license in the province. Anglers will still be required to follow all possession limits and size restrictions. Federal angling licenses will still be required in national parks. Anglers are reminded to exercise caution when fishing on ice and check conditions before heading out for safety. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. Sutherland Avenue will be closed intermittently today between Derby and Yard Street following the rush. The westbound curb lane on Notre Dame Avenue will be closed from Kate to Furby Street. And the eastbound curb lane on Grant Avenue will be closed from Stafford to Lilac Street. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400.
It's -11 and it feels like -17, pardon me, with that wind out of the west, 14 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity is sitting at 90% and still a little bit of light snow swirling out there this morning. That will be tapering off, eventually clearing out. We'll see some sunshine. We're just not going to get the warmth of it. Another below seasonal day, no matter where you are. That's right up into much of northern Manitoba. Fairly clear conditions through the central part of the province, but the further that you go into the north, you're likely to encounter the clouds. You might even see some scattered flurries in there. And yes, you can see that once again, the temperatures will be on the colder side, although not quite as cold as it's been the last few days. You've been stuck in the -20s up around the Churchill area today. Mid-minus teens is where you're headed. And even some minus single digits through parts of the north or central Manitoba, where you'll be seeing a little more of that sunshine. Again, it's that most northern stretch where the heavier clouds will linger. But for many places, the sun will be shining, just not bringing the heat. Below seasonal temperatures for pretty much everybody today, when we should be at least pushing into the freezing mark by a few degrees now. 4 degrees being a seasonal daytime high across southern Manitoba. We're not even getting close to the freezing mark today. In fact, these numbers are a lot closer to seasonal low temperatures of -7. Here in Winnipeg, we might get to -6 with some heavier clouds hanging around in the light snow this morning, but as the afternoon goes on, we should see that clearing. But once again, a reminder that the sunshine will not equal warmth. It will warm up a little bit more for the weekend itself, at least pushing above the freezing mark briefly, because next week we're slipping below it again with another round of precipitation Monday.
Checking in on this Friday with our pals at Bounce 99 Radio. Bo and Gabby, happy Friday, guys.
Hey, happy Friday, Catherine. Hey, we love Terry, but we don't like her forecast. But even though it's not spring weather, the Blue Jays have their season opener tonight in Toronto, so I thought I'm going to get a Blue Jays shirt on here, and I'm freezing with the short sleeves, but it's worth it. So go Blue Jays. This is as clean as the shirt will ever be. I just bought it yesterday. No mustard stains, no dog hair, so enjoy it.
He won't wash it if they make it into playoffs the entire time, so it's going to get real stinky for sure. Kat, one of the things we were chatting about this week was things that our partners won't let us do because we'll mess them up. My husband is a plumber. He will not let me make bacon anymore because I kept pouring the grease down the sink. I thought the toilet was better. I really did. I thought if you flush it down the toilet, that's way. Lots of things go down the toilet. I'm just saying. So I'm not allowed to make bacon anymore.
Well, at least you don't have to spend a lot of money on the plumber. For me, I'm just not allowed to fix anything. I am not a handy guy, so I'm not allowed to touch anything if it's broken. How about you, Kat? How about you, Catherine?
Well, I mean, I'm really not allowed to cook because I'm a terrible cook and my partner's a chef. But I insist because I feel bad because he cooks all the time. But he's recently subscribed to a meal delivery system. So I think he's trying to tell me something there. So that's kind of it. I'm not allowed to touch the stove, basically, because disasters happen. Raw chicken,
hard potatoes, that kind of thing.
Well, that's kind of
having a mic situation here.
I thought so.
Probably
I was hoping it wasn't my joke.
No, we have an issue with our mic, so we're just going to share this one mic, like the two best friends that we are.
Okay. Yes. So. We were talking also about old buildings, and we have so many great buildings. Alan Doyle of Great Big Sea did a long video on how many great old buildings there are here in Winnipeg. Have you got one, Catherine? Because we both have our favorites. Mine's the old Bank of Montreal building, now the Métis Centre at Portage in Maine. What's yours?
I don't. Oh my gosh, my brain. It's listening. Friday brain. Catherine, what's yours? You go.
Well, this is a shameless plug. I wrote a story about these things called holdout houses or stubborn houses. So one of mine is called Kelly House. It's one of those houses that's surrounded by skyscrapers. So that's mine. Personal plug. All right, guys. Thanks so much for being with us. Happy Friday. Go Blue Jays. Well, a walking stick and a permanent marker are tools one Vancouver man uses daily. They help him get from one volunteer gig to another as he turns his focus away from a grim prognosis and towards his purpose. CTV's Adam Sawatsky reports.
If you ask Mario Gregorio the story behind his walking stick,
this is a bamboo and this is the roots.
He'll tell you how his nephew carved it for him and how it's proven to be a great conversation starter.
And then sometimes they say, Mario, you talk too much. I don't care.
But Mario says he does care deeply about the schedule on his hand.
Because I used to write it in a piece of paper and then I forget that I have it in my pocket, so it becomes useless.
You see, Mario was diagnosed with dementia in his mid-50s, was forced to quit his job, and left feeling like a jug of milk with a looming best before date.
They say 7 to 12 years after that, either you're dead or you go to a long-term care home.
Mario cried countless tears before considering a singular solution.
There might be something I can do while I'm still alive, kind of thing.
So Mario started volunteering and found that the more he helped others, the more his mental health improved.
I think people should understand that they need to have a purpose.
And now, 18 years after being diagnosed, Mario volunteers at 20 organizations, from universities doing dementia research to community groups making meals for folks who are unhoused.
When people talk to me, I tell them, volunteering makes me cry.
Because in community kitchens, he'll tell them, he's always happy to do what nobody else wants to.
Who wants to do onions? And then everybody would yell, Mario will do it.
Because no matter what makes Mario start crying, he'll always end up smiling.
We always smile no matter what.
And no matter where, he travels with his bamboo cane and back-of-hand calendar. Mario never forgets to be grateful.
At the end of the day, I have a sense of being thankful to make life of other people a little better.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
Friday energy, friends. It's Friday, March 27th. Today, a show of defiance. How councillors reacted to Russ Wyatt's appearance at City Hall. Plus, getting the green light. What changes are ahead for Winnipeg's Wellington Crescent. And a curling shakeup. Who's parting ways with Manitoba's team Einarson? Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Welcome back, 7 a.m. on your Friday. Yeah, I'm not sure if you heard Terry couldn't keep her Friday excitement to herself during headlines, but that's what keeps the energy going. We're excited for the day.
It's the weekend.
It is the weekend.
Friends.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And spring break is next week, so I feel like the excitement is like palpable.
It works.
Yeah. So Arlene's McPhail's getting details on some spring break ideas at the Manitoba Children's Museum. Plus, at 7:52, we're going to be having Scott Young in from the Manitoba Museum Planetarium. He's always a fascinating chat. He's going to be talking about these new investments happening in Canada to create our very own spaceport, because we currently don't have the ability to launch space projects like satellites into orbit. So we're going to learn what kind of frontiers this opens up for Canada. in the space race. So that's coming up. But Terry, how's the weekend looking as we cast our eye to the sky here?
So good. It's the weekend after all. Okay, you mean weather-wise? Yeah, not so great. All right, here we go. It's still cold this morning, snowing too. You're waking up to another round of fresh snow. -11 feels like -17 with a 14K wind out of the west right now. The pressure is rising, the humidity sitting at 90%, but it looks all fresh and clean out there. That's nice to see, only for perhaps a day, because we should be pushing up above the freezing mark for tomorrow and Sunday, and anything that's looking nice and white and pristine will be a grade brown, slushy, dirty mess. But slushy, dirty mess just means that we're getting closer and closer to warmer weather, and I feel like at this point, that's all we can ask for. There you can see the heavier clouds still lingering. The little bits of snow, those are the darker gray patches that you're seeing, and they're still kind of swirling out there this morning. Those will eventually taper off. Some sunshine to take its place, just really not warming us up much. Right up into northeastern Manitoba, those heavier clouds to linger, and the far north as well. More than clouds, maybe some scattered snow there too. We've got that sunshine to enjoy throughout the afternoon, and then some clouds are actually going to be moving in through the overnight hours. There they are, but clearing out again for tomorrow. We'll do it all over again, but this time the temperatures will be climbing a little bit higher. Saturday and Sunday, we could be cracking the freezing mark, not by much and not quite getting to what is normal for this time of year, with 4 degrees now being that seasonal daytime high, but 1 degree, I mean, compared to the -6 we're expecting today, that's a huge improvement. Not for long, though. You can see into the start of next week, a little bit of light snow again as these temperatures start to slide again. Our weather picture today is all thanks to Sharia, 10 years old. Love this scene with the mountains. It looks so pretty. A little bit of sunshine. I like that you tucked that in there. Keep the art coming. You can send it now through our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Enter there for not just your chance to get your art shown on TV, but you're also entered to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Kenniston.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery. Make memories that last forever.
Thanks, Terry. A defiant Russ Wyatt arrived at City Hall Thursday for his first council meeting since being charged with sexual assault. A move making it clear the city councillor is not taking the mayor's advice to step aside. And despite some tough questions from members of the media, the councillor kept his cool, appearing unfazed by the serious allegations against him. CTV's Jeff Keel was at City Hall to witness it all and captured reaction from Wyatt's colleagues.
Councillor, why are you here today, sir?
Excuse me, I'm going to my council meeting.
Despite pleas for him not to show up, embattled Transcona City Councillor Russ Wyatt arrived for City Council's monthly meeting a day after police announced he'd been charged with drugging and sexually assaulting a man. Wyatt directed all questions to his lawyer.
I ask you to talk to my attorney. Thanks, guys.
On Wednesday, the mayor urged Wyatt to step away from office while he deals with the charges. Gillingham reiterated that call again Thursday.
My recommendation is the councillor step away to deal with a serious matter that is before him.
And other councillors also expressed displeasure that Wyatt was there, calling his presence a distraction.
I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed in Councillor Wyatt. It's just unfortunate that, this incident is sidelining, the news of the day.
Still, the meeting went on as usual, but when Wyatt stood to speak on other issues, City Councillor Cindy Gilroy turned her back to him as a form of silent protest.
Yeah, it's a message.
8 years ago, when Wyatt was charged with sexual assault, a charge which was stayed, Gilroy then pushed for mandatory paid leave for councillors facing serious criminal charges. But it went nowhere over human rights concerns. Now she says council should have the discretion to suspend a member with pay pending the outcome of a criminal matter, a change the province would have to allow for.
I'm very uncomfortable with the situation. I want to make sure I'm making a stance so that I'm supporting the many victims out there and the people in the room that maybe do not feel comfortable with the presence.
And while council does have the authority to boot councillors from committees, they can't remove them from office under these circumstances. But voters in Transcona can. This drama surrounding Wyatt comes in an election year.
I think they have to review who they're electing. I mean, this is the second charge that this councillor has had.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
On Wednesday, Wyatt's lawyer said his client is innocent. The allegations against Wyatt have not been proven in court, so Wyatt is presumed innocent. Winnipeg City Council, meanwhile, councillors have approved a plan to improve safety on Wellington Crescent to move forward with some amendments.
This amendment
puts the simplest and most immediate steps that were left out of the Public Works discussion and the EPC discussion, those immediate steps back in. And that's why it should give this council comfort.
The amended motion directs the Public Service to find a consultant to draw up plans for a permanent bike lane solution for Wellington Crescent, using feedback from the public. And while it doesn't include plans for a pilot or interim infrastructure, it will see the speed limit lowered to 40 kilometers an hour on Wellington from Academy Road to River Avenue, along with stretches of River Avenue and Stradbrook Avenue. Another clause, which would have restricted left turns at several intersections, did not pass. A 29-year-old woman is facing several serious charges after being accused of intentionally hitting a man multiple times with a vehicle. The troubling incident happened Tuesday night on Main Street in Dauphin. Mounties say the suspect first clipped the victim with the vehicle, then hit him again when he got up and tried to run away. She's then accused of getting out of the vehicle and assaulting the man while he was on the ground. RCMP say the pair knew each other. A bystander tried to intervene and was also allegedly assaulted. Both victims were brought to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A woman from Dauphin was arrested a few hours later. She is facing a combined 10 charges, including attempted murder, assault with a weapon, and dangerous operation of a vehicle. Canada's Supreme Court has started deliberations on a challenge of Quebec's secularism law. Over 4 days of arguments, the court heard from 61 parties. The law bans public workers in positions of authority from wearing religious symbols while on the job. The outcome of the case could also affect how governments can use the notwithstanding clause, which shields laws from charter challenges. After the hearings wrapped, Chief Justice Richard Wagner didn't give a timeline on a ruling, but it is expected to take months. Gimli's Carrie Einarson is shaking up her rink days after losing to Switzerland at the World Women's Curling Championship. The team announced it's parting ways with longtime third Val Sweeting. That's her second from the left, along with coach Reid Carruthers and alternate Kristen Karwacki. Sweeting joined the team at its formation ahead of the 2018-2019 season and helped it win 5 Canadian titles. Carruthers, who retired as a player earlier this year, has coached Einarson's team since 2022. They won 3 of their national titles during that span. Karwacki joined in 2021 and filled in as the team's lead after Brianne Harris was handed a doping suspension in 2024. Harris was later cleared but didn't rejoin the team. Another check-in on traffic takes us to Kenniston at Sterling Lyon. Looking snowy out there and crawling with activity. Meanwhile, if you have any traffic tips or updates to share with us, we'd love to see them. Text them to us at 10400.
Oil is pushing higher as traders brace for the Iran war to stretch into April, and attacks continue across the Middle East, with transit through the critical Strait of Hormuz still largely halted. President Donald Trump pushing back a deadline for striking Iran's energy structure by 10 days, prolonging uncertainty over the course of the war well into next month. Now, the extension allows more time for talks, but also for the U.S. to amass additional forces in the region. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the Pentagon is looking at sending as many as 10,000 extra ground troops. Beyond oil, the Middle East conflict is fueling fears of a shortage of helium, a byproduct of liquefied natural gas production that is critical for semiconductors, aerospace applications, and high-end medical equipment. Qatar is the major supplier and is limiting deliveries. The medical sector is on alert as magnetic resonance imaging, MRI machines, depend on liquid helium to cool their superconducting magnets, and a supply crunch could jeopardize diagnostic services. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
CTV's Ainsley McPhail is kicking off spring break early this morning at the Manitoba Children's Museum. Ainsley, it's so much fun down there.
Oh man, and we have the best opportunity because every segment there's a different craft, a different idea that you can either come into the museum or even perhaps try it at home. We've got some baking soda planned behind me, but Kenny wouldn't let me touch it yet. We're just teasing. We're just getting ready for the morning. It's pretty awesome. But they mix it up every single day, and tomorrow is when it all starts, kicks off. There's Fit Kids, Healthy Kids, Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society. There's even some graffiti, some dancing. everything that you could want, especially for the various types of enthusiasts in your life. The Children's Museum this year is also celebrating 40 years. Wow, what a milestone.
And a milestone indeed. I've had so many fun times there with the littles and my family. Thanks for that. Going up to the rooftop, not a great sign that the hood's still up, Terry, but it's improving out there. It's not as bad as yesterday.
I only just flipped it up. I stood out here for probably about 12 seconds before I did. And then I was like, oh, didn't want to get my hair wet. Listen, I just like to stay warm and dry. Can't fault me for that. But the flurry activity has tapered off considerably, whereas before it was falling at a rate that I wouldn't have even stepped outside without the hood. So I'm going to call this a bit of an improvement already for our Friday morning. Although not necessarily with the temperature, that has actually dropped off. We went from -11 to -11.5. So now we round up and we call it -12. With a west wind 16 kilometers per hour, the pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 89%. It's looking a little bit brighter out here now. We're getting closer to sunrise, and we will eventually see that sunrise, just maybe not first thing this morning. Although, do you know what? The clouds are thin enough that we might be able to enjoy a bit of a sunrise this morning. We'll probably see these clouds kind of changing color over the course of the morning. And then the snow, well, that's just going to stay white for us for now, for today, because it will be cold and below seasonal. Central and northern Manitoba, even colder yet, but not as cold as it's been. And it's still going to get a little bit warmer as we look ahead to the weekend.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Time now for our question of the day. If you caught our chat with Bounce, we were talking about our favorite old buildings in Winnipeg, so we're posing the same question to you. What is your favorite old building? Let us know. You can text your answer to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response, and don't forget to include your name.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic, science-backed body contouring.
At Your Morning Winnipeg, we are all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, scaly, you name it. Your Pet of the Week submissions have been amazing, and we just want to see even more. Whether it's dogs, cats, birds, any other pet pals, send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to Pet of the Week at ctv.ca, and catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. Notre Dame Avenue starting to pick up. A little bit snowy out there. We'll have more news, weather, and traffic still to come. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We now know what brought Winnipeg police to a house in Osborne Village on Wednesday morning. Roslyn Road was closed by Osborne Street as the Guns and Gangs unit teamed up with the tactical support team to execute a pair of search warrants on a home and a vehicle. They found a loaded handgun, a small amount of ammunition, more than $1,200, as well as heroin, cocaine, fentanyl, and methamphetamine. The illicit drugs have an estimated street value of more than $500,000. A 37-year-old man is charged with possession of a scheduled substance for the purpose of trafficking, as well as possession of a firearm and possession of property obtained by crime under $5,000. A 36-year-old woman is also facing drug trafficking charges. 2 other people were released without charges. The bodies of the 2 pilots killed in the crash at LaGuardia are back in Canada. The journey home for Captain Antoine Ferret and First Officer Mackenzie Gunther started with a ceremony at Newark Airport. Their remains were then flown to Ottawa, where First Officer Gunther's remains were returned. The plane then flew to Montreal. Hundreds of pilots and flight staff lined the streets in the rain as a procession carrying the remains of Captain Ferret went past. And LaGuardia has reopened the runway where the crash happened. The airport had been working at limited capacity this week to accommodate investigators and cleanup crews. And U.S. President Donald Trump is extending his deadline to strike Iranian energy plants by another 10 days, claiming negotiations are going well.
Wouldn't negotiate. They are begging to make a deal. We'll see if we can make the right deal.
Iran denies those claims, saying there are no formal negotiations as strikes continue across the Middle East.
We have some spectacular out-of-this-world images to show you. These are the clearest photos ever taken of Saturn. NASA says they show a level of detail never before seen and display subtle color variations. The images of the gas giant with icy rings were captured by the James Webb Space Telescope and the Hubble Space Telescope in 2024. NASA says they give scientists a richer, more layered understanding of the planet's atmosphere. Taking a look at this planet right now, specifically Osborne Street, starting to pick up. Roads a little bit snowy after last night's snowfall. Meanwhile, if you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
Time now for some entertainment news. All the Muggles are talking because the first full trailer for the upcoming Harry Potter series was released.
Mr. Potter, I think we can expect great things from you.
The trailer gives us a look into the newest perspective of the Harry Potter universe, all the way from the closet under the stairs to the Great Hall and everything in between. One thing fans will notice right away is the musical score, which is being completely reimagined by Oscar-winning German composer Hans Zimmer. The 8-episode opening series bearing the name of the original novel, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, is set to begin streaming on HBO Max on Christmas Day. A pair of Canadian bands and a Manitoba musician will headline the main stage at a summer fair. Canadian country band The Washboard Union will return to the Niverville Fair on Saturday, June 13th. They last hit the stage there in 2016. Also returning that night is Manitoba country singer Katie St. Germain. Tickets are on sale through the fair's website. The Niverville Fair runs June 12th and 13th. A festival dedicated to the Baroque period of music is hoping to hit all of the right notes here in Winnipeg. The festival will feature an array of choirs, ensembles, and soloists, including Dead of Winter, Carl Stobie, and the Winnipeg Baroque Brass Choir. Performers will take place at University of Manitoba and other locations across the city over multiple weeks. The festival kicks off on March 29th and runs through April 18th. And your primetime lineup starts with Celebrity Jeopardy at 7, Harry's Place, and Children Ruin Everything comes next at 8, and catch W5 Avery Haynes Investigates at 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Primetime Lineup is brought to you by the Children's Rehabilitation Foundation.
That kind of Baroque music was very much in keeping with my mood this week, Terry. Kind of dour, but I'm actually starting to feel happier, maybe gospel vibes, because I did feel a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of a warm-up yesterday.
Right? It was really nice to see that sunshine yesterday, even if the temperatures were still well below what you would expect this time of year. Today, kind of more of the same. You can see the breaks in the clouds as we look now through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. Right, the low-level clouds along the horizon might kind of ruin our bit of sunrise spectacular, if you will. But then as it climbs a little bit higher and as these clouds begin to clear, we should be seeing increasing amounts of that sun as the day goes on. Right now we are still waking up to these well below seasonal temperatures. I mentioned earlier it's 11.5. Some models round up to -12. This one doesn't, so we'll take it. It can trick our brain into thinking it's a whole degree warmer. -11 right now through much of the southeast. Oh, there Brandon just flipped in real time. -13 at the moment. Dauphin -16. You're seeing these mid to high minus teens moving up through central Manitoba and then further up into the north into the -20s and high -20s up in Churchill right now. Feeling like -38. Churchill, this has become all half for you, dealing with these well below seasonal temperatures, frigid January-like temperatures. I mean, we've been complaining about being below seasonal as well, but it's nowhere near as shocking as what you're experiencing throughout the north. Now, today across northern Manitoba, there will be some extra clouds. We too are dealing with those extra clouds, and we've been seeing a little bit of light snow so far this morning. That will taper off, the clouds will clear, and we'll see a little more sunshine by the time kids are coming home from school, about -7 with -6. Our expected high today. Now -7 is a normal low, +4 seasonal daytime high. We'll get closer to that this weekend and then start to slip again for next week. But look at all the joy that little Deeks is feeling over this fresh round of snow. If only we can emulate that kind of pure love for the snow, regardless of what time of year it is. Thanks to Terry for the photo. Keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
March 27th, 1998. Canada's health ministers announced a $1.1 billion compensation package for people who contracted hepatitis C through tainted blood. But the aid was initially limited to those infected between 1986 and mid-1990, when screening was available but not used. Coverage was later expanded to those infected before September 28th, 1998. March 27th, 2022. At the Academy Awards show, Will Smith marched on stage and slapped presenter Chris Rock after the comic made a joke about the shaved head of Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. He returned to the stage later to collect his first Best Actor Oscar for King Richard and apologized to the Academy and fellow nominees, but not to Rock. March 27th, 2024. About 230 Canada Revenue Agency employees were fired for falsely claiming a federal income benefit during the COVID-19 pandemic. The CRA said the workers who inappropriately applied for and received the benefit known as CERB were terminated and were ordered to repay the funds they received.
Time now for this week's Adorable Adoptables. We begin with Sadie. She is a 1-year-old kitten that's learning to trust people, so she'd spend most of her days safe in her box hiding. Sadie may be tiny, but she has a lot of love to give. Next up is Diana. This sweet, timid girl is overcoming a lot of nerves in the shelter, working with our team on her confidence. At 2 years old, she loves walks and would choose to sit in your lap over playing with a toy any day. And meet Sheena, a cutie. She's a staff and volunteer favorite. This loving pup is ready for adventure, but also down to cuddle. She's got the softest fur and the sweetest smile, and she promises to share the couch. If you think you can offer any of these animals a good home, just head down to the Winnipeg Humane Society or give them a call. The number is on your screen. Adorable. All right, get ready to join. Speaking of pups, some of your favorite pups, Paw Patrol Live, A Mighty Adventure, is coming to the Centennial Concert Hall on April 4th with 3 performances, 10:30 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5:30 p.m. And this is your last chance to win a pass for 4 in a Your Morning Winnipeg contest. The live stage performance follows favorite characters in the animated preschool series Paw Patrol. The rescue dogs must face off against a supervillain scientist who places the city's biggest party in danger. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca. Don't forget to enter the keyword adventure. Good luck. What a day to be at the Children's Museum just ahead of spring break. Ainsley McPhail is going to learn what they've got planned for kids next week. That's coming up at 7:28. CTV's Ainsley McPhail is spending the morning at the Manitoba Children's Museum. From what I saw earlier, Ainsley, looks like you're getting a little crafty this segment.
Well, this one is a science craft, I guess you could say. Brady Kidd's joining me now, and you might be surprised to know, Brady, that my only science experience is watching the TVB Wheeled In and watching Bill Nye, so, which I'm sure is a lot of the other folks out there too. Tell us about what we're going to make and learn today.
Yeah, so this coming Sunday we have Let's Talk Science coming in with some awesome science activities from the U of M, but we do also have a baking soda and vinegar type of art craft going on as well at the same time.
I have my hypothesis is that something might happen, but maybe I'll let you lead the charge.
Yeah, so if you want to, you can squirt some vinegar on our baking soda there, however you so desire there. Science stuff. We always love science stuff. Some chemical reactions that are kid-friendly. Of course. Oh yeah, look at that. That's perfect. So yeah, I have some chemical reactions there of the kids and kind of explain it. And then once we kind of make our own pattern, we can then put our paper down, let that absorb, and then children can create their own artwork patterns and stuff like that. Let that dry to the side, and there we go. So we need a little bit more down there, but yeah.
Oh, this is so cool. It's not like the, Mentos and soda where it
No, that would go everywhere and be, yeah, no, we're not going to have that, that's for sure.
Not that I know what that is. No, definitely not. I love this because it's really getting kids involved in science, but there's so many different activities and genres throughout the spring break week?
Oh, 100%. Like we talked a little about earlier, we have Wildlife Rehabilitation Center coming in. They're a really good partner of ours. They help a lot of wildlife. You probably saw the baby lynx that went to the Sunburn Park Zoo not too long ago. We have stuff like, again, Let's Talk Science is a great partner we deal with for STEM programming. And we have stuff like a graffiti arts program with the more artistic side as well coming in. And they are, I believe, are making some stickers for everybody as well that day, helping them create their own. So yeah, just a good assortment overall.
And this kicks off tomorrow, yeah?
It does indeed. So tomorrow we have the Lego builders in Manitoba coming in with some awesome displays. I believe they even have a replica of the Nutty Club building in Lego that they're going to be bringing in. So it's going to be an awesome time.
I have a short attention span. I didn't mean to ignore you. And I am a kid.
I got some green here
Back
too,
to you.
So.
Green!
Green!
You guys are having the best time down there this morning. Thanks for that. We'll let them get to their fun. Speaking of spring break, Terry, how is Mother Nature going to be treating everyone who gets to take the week off?
I mean, maybe not ideal unless you planned your spring break getaway, because we're actually still looking at these below seasonal temperatures to continue well into next week. We'll see some slight improvements for the weekend, but they will only be slight. And then next week does not look like an improvement at all. It's -12 right now, and it feels like -19 with a west wind 16 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 89%. You can still see those extra clouds hanging around out there this morning, and there's still a few scattered flakes of snow that are falling from those clouds. Through central Manitoba, you can see it's already clear. Northern Manitoba, clear for some, but especially here in the northeast, that's where some heavier clouds will linger. And those cold below seasonal temperatures, everybody will be experiencing that today. For example, -7, that would be a normal low. That's closer to our daytime high today than the seasonal +4 degrees. Yeah, well above the freezing mark is what you would expect to be getting to late March, keeping in mind that April is just around the corner, and April doesn't really look a whole lot better than what we've been dealing with. -10 overnight. With the clouds clearing this afternoon, they'll probably increase again tonight, but clearing throughout the day tomorrow, so we'll be seeing the clouds moving in and out. Slight improvements with the temperatures tomorrow. I shouldn't even say slight. Big improvements with the temperature tomorrow, at least cracking the freezing mark. Still not quite getting to the seasonal 4 degrees, but a whole lot better than it's been. And even Sunday could keep us above the freezing mark at 1 degree. But after that, Monday, another round of snow starting to slip, and even more so Tuesday. And here's a look at next week, or at least the start of it. By Thursday, we could be getting up to 4 degrees, but by then a seasonal high would be about 6.
Thanks, Terry. Winnipeg City Council has voted in favor of a motion to petition the province to amend the Highway Traffic Act and allow it to set its own default speed limit. It's the first step before any future conversation can happen about whether or not to lower speed limits and by how much. The Premier has indicated the city can already lower speed limits if it wants. However, it would require street-by-street changes and new signage, which would cost millions of dollars, something the mayor said he is not interested in doing. Air Canada could be hit with numerous lawsuits after this week's deadly crash in New York. Air passenger rights advocate Gabor Lukacs says the airline could be on the hook for hundreds of thousands of dollars per passenger. That's because an international agreement that standardizes compensation holds airlines liable for death or bodily injury.
The idea of this is that the buck stops at the airline insofar as passengers are concerned. It doesn't prevent Air Canada from seeking recovery from any other third party. This is just a measure to ensure that passengers, in many cases, don't have to scramble to find the right party to sue. They have one party, and it's important too that passengers can sue Air Canada in Canada, or even can sue their airline in their own state if they live outside of Canada. They don't have to sue in the U.S.
The Air Canada passengers have 2 years to file lawsuits under the agreement. A Conservative MLA in BC who's now facing serious criminal charges has been ousted from caucus.
Anything regarding intimate partner violence cannot and should not ever be tolerated.
Han Chan informed the interim leader on Wednesday that he had been arrested and charged. He's facing assault by choking or suffocating, and a charge of knowingly uttering or conveying threats to cause death or bodily harm. None of the allegations have been proven in court, but Chan was ordered to leave caucus immediately. In a statement posted to social media, Chan's office writes that he disagrees with the allegations and looks forward to defending himself through the legal process. He has not been asked to resign. A reminder, none of those allegations have been tested in court. After a marathon session at the U.S. Senate, there is a deal to fund the Department of Homeland Security.
This could have been accomplished weeks ago if Republicans hadn't stood in the way.
The Senate deal would exclude funding for ICE, but it will include money for TSA workers who are poised to miss another paycheck today. It's not a done deal, though, because it still needs to get past the Republican-controlled House. U.S. President Donald Trump says he will order Homeland Security to pay TSA workers even without government funding. Research has shown social engagement can help reduce the risk of stroke, heart disease, depression, and dementia, which is why social prescribing has taken off around the world, including here in Manitoba.
I became isolated and withdrawn and very depressed. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to cook or clean.
Kathy Domenko lives alone and doesn't have a lot of family around. She says her quiet life was starting to feel quite lonely, and that was before she was diagnosed with a visual impairment. Domenko shared how she was feeling with her doctor, who took a different approach than expected. It's called social prescribing, a way to connect people experiencing isolation, especially seniors, to community resources, programming, and other people in the same boat.
Help people to maintain their independence and stay in their own homes, but primarily focus on that connection, belonging, purpose, meaning in somebody's life.
Through social prescribing, Domenko was connected to the Transcona Council for Seniors, and she's since become a mainstay at weekly lunches and monthly dinners. And she's even started taking classes on how to cook for one person. Social prescribing is available in all Manitoba health regions. All you have to do is ask your doctor for a referral, or you can refer yourself. The best way to connect with a resource coordinator is by calling 211. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. Sutherland Avenue will be closed intermittently today between Derby and Yard Street. Following the rush, the westbound curb lane on Notre Dame Avenue will be closed from Kate to Furby Street. And the eastbound curb lane on Grant Avenue will be closed from Stafford to Lilac Street. If you have any traffic tips, you can always text them to us at 10400. Taking a look at gas prices, Canadian average stands at $1.72, provincial average $1.66. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.67, and the lowest price in the city, $1.50. All this information is on GasBuddy.com. Looking a little cloudy out there, feeling a bit cold. Terry will tell us what Mother Nature has in store for the weekend. Don't go anywhere.
Happy Friday. That looks kind of nice, doesn't it? That little crack in the clouds to let some sunshine through. It's -12, feels like -19 with a 16K wind out of the west. The pressure is rising, the humidity sitting at 89%. Mainly cloudy. There's been a little bit of light snow. Well, there's been snow falling all night long and still a little bit falling right now. So a fresh dusting is what we're waking up to through central Manitoba. And there you can see the darker gray patches where the snow is still coming down. But you can see the clouds are also moving out of the way, and they will continue to clear throughout the day today. Through central and parts of northern Manitoba, it will be quite sunny. Farthest that you go up into the north, you're going to encounter those clouds, maybe even some scattered snow. The temperatures, though well below seasonal, are improving over where you've been earlier this week, stuck in the mid to high -20s all week long. You're now looking at a daytime high in Churchill of -16, and for some high minus single digits. Yes, it is below what you would expect, but again, relatively speaking, this is a bit of improvement, and some of you will be seeing a fair bit of that sunshine today. Parts of southern Manitoba will eventually be clearing out as well. But again, these temperatures closer to normal lows than seasonal highs, +4. That would be normal for this time of year, and we're not getting anywhere near that, not today. And the weekend will get closer to it, but still not quite hitting the mark. Enjoy that bit of sunshine, though, especially as these clouds clear northwestern Ontario. You're still likely to see more of that precipitation lingering a little bit longer through the day. I mentioned the plus digits for the weekend, but it may only be for the weekend, because into the start of next week, another round of snow and the temperatures start to slide off for a few days at least before they rebound. Eventually getting closer to those seasonal temperatures, but for the next stretch of days, don't expect much. Spring break will be a little bit cool.
Thanks for that. Alrighty, that's good news, Terry, because CTV's Ainsley McPhail has plenty of indoor ideas for this spring break. She's headed indoors, at the Manitoba Children's Museum. Clearly, I need a break, Ainsley. You guys are having fun down there, though.
Good morning. And yeah, a lot of people will say, you look like you're having so much fun. And I truly am, because it's one of the best places in the province to hang out, as it has been for 4 decades now. Brady's joining us once again to talk about the anniversary.
100%. So it is our 30th anniversary year. We have some awesome events planned. We have a fundraising gala this September coming up. We will also have an event in June to celebrate our birthday with some awesome events as well going on. TBD on that, but you can always check our website. We will have more info on that coming up soon, hopefully. So yeah,
and over the decades, lots to see, do, touch, coordinate, blow up, explore.
Green, yeah.
Green.
Exactly.
But some people who come in, I'm sure now it's their kids when they've experienced it previously.
100%. So I mean, we have people coming in all the time that, you know, they came here when the tree was here and some stuff like that, and then we have the new exhibits from the last renovation and stuff like that. So it's kind of a new way to explore, not only for their child but also them as well in the museum.
I love that nostalgia, but something that is timeless: crafts, arts and crafts. And look at how adorable these ones are. Something on tap for spring break.
100%. So again, we have crafts going on all week long. We have some awesome little pine cone owls we're going to create while our friends at Wildlife Rehabilitation Center are coming in. They will have some live owls and some other animal friends as well. And we thought we'd create a little keepsake for the kids to take home as well that day.
I might have to steal this one and put it on my desk, or maybe put it on Terry or Rochelle's desk. This is great.
Yeah, somebody put the eyebrows for the beaks. So they, you know, creative, right? That's what we want to see.
Oh, mine would just be one eyebrow. I got to get that waxed.
One leg up or the other, exactly.
Thank goodness, I love it. Dates, times, all of it. There's a whole week of activities, and I'm sure your website's got some stuff.
Exactly. So all the events are from 11 till 3 every day. We'll have announcements going on in the museum as well, but if you want to check exactly what is going on each day, you can just go on our website. It's all laid out nice and easy for the parents, and if you want to buy tickets as well, just so you know what day you're coming, you don't have to come or buy tickets at the kiosk. You can just come straight in and go to the admissions. You can buy them online.
I love that. Or just get a membership. Come every single day. Oh, we all want to be a kid. Back to you.
I don't get to know the heck. Okay, what began as a quest for a Saskatchewan senior has been a powerful lesson for everyone around her. CTV's Sierra D'Souza butts on her preservation and strength.
Maeva Bridges' interest in powerlifting goes as far back as the 1970s.
I started watching a movie called Pumping Iron, and it really sparked some sort of flame in me, and I really wanted to get into lifting weights.
When moving to Moose Jaw around that same time, Bridges built up the courage to try some weights of her own.
The floors were separate. The women were on one floor, the men were on another floor. So I asked if I could go up to the men's floor, which the owner, Dave Pyle, said absolutely, give it a trial.
Shortly after, Bridges participated in her first meet, winning the Western Canadians in 1983. She then took a break to raise her children and continue her life, but found her way back under the barbell 34 years later, now powerlifting at 68 years old.
There are days where I figure I can't do anything. I feel like I'm going to break. I've had a bad day. I've been in pain all day. I walk out of here moving better. My joints feel good. I feel good, and I'm so proud of myself that I did it again.
The benefits of strength training for females is so widely researched right now, and it's so beneficial. So just seeing her keep moving as she does age is definitely a motivation for me.
So it's really
Recently competing at the Canadian Powerlifting National Championship, Bridges set 2 new records, one for hoisting a 140-kilogram barbell.
Still making good progress even with the injuries she's been struggling with, but yeah, she's doing great.
As for what's next, Bridges will be pumping iron at provincials in September. Beyond that, one of her goals is to break some world records. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Moose Jaw.
Celebrating a milestone today, shall we? Happy birthday to Natalie on Sunday in Edmonton. Love from your siblings and family. Happy 12th birthday to Dryden Paper Kings, number 12, Drew, from family and friends. Happy birthday, Lila. Love Nan and Papa. Happy 6th birthday, Ian, from your family in Winnipeg. Happy 11th birthday, Brooklyn. Love your family. Happy sweet 16th birthday, Chloe, the current Miss Manitoba, from family and friends. Happy 8th birthday, Luca. Love Mom, Dad, Dino, and Penny. Happy 7th birthday to Ashlyn Anna May. Love from Grandma and Grandpa. Happy 90th birthday, Evelyn, with love and best wishes from your family and friends. And happy 85th birthday to twins, Jeanette and Joanne. All your family and friends send their love and wish you a special day. And a special 103rd birthday to Anna. Love your family, send their love, and look forward to celebrating with you. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It's also going to enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff, Winnipeg's balloon headquarters with 3 locations.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
All right, I suggest you keep the expectations low for today. Enjoy the fact that it's Friday, but don't expect much from Mother Nature. -6 is where we're headed for a high today, when +4 is normal for this time of year. Now, last year we were hovering around the freezing mark. Back in 1946, 23.3 degrees. That's the weather that I would love to be feeling right now. But again, expectations, bring them right on back to Earth, or maybe dig a hole. Anyway, -12, that's where we're sitting right now. -19 is what it feels like. We got some heavier clouds hanging above and still a little bit of light snow. The winds, they're out of the west. They're 16 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, humidity sitting at 89%. The light snow has been falling all night long. Still throughout the morning hours, it'll continue. It looks all pristine and clean again. That's not going to last long, though, because for the weekend we will get some improvements with the temperatures, but that will make things messy and slushy again. By later this morning or this afternoon, we'll see these clouds clearing out, a little more sunshine expected, but the cold temperatures will be felt no matter where you are in the province, well below seasonal. And even for that bit of a warm-up this weekend, we're still not quite getting back up to what is normal for this time of year, but big improvements from where we've been. We'll likely crack the freezing mark for Saturday and Sunday, but that will be brief, because by the time we're looking ahead to next week, another round of snow and the temperature starts to dip again.
A multi-million-dollar investment from the federal government aims to shore up Canada's place in the space race. The money will fund the creation of a Canadian-owned spaceport in a push to give Canada the ability to launch its own space projects into orbit. Here to provide some insight into this, I'm joined now by Scott Young, planetarium astronomer with the Manitoba Museum. Good morning, Scott. Good to speak with you.
Good morning, you too.
So as mentioned, Canada currently doesn't have that ability to launch things like satellites into space, so we have to rely on others. What sort of disadvantage does that put us at, Scott?
Well, Canada is really good at a number of things in space. We build amazing satellites. We've done a lot of communication satellites and things like that because our country is so vast. And so satellite technology is very, very important. But at the same time, we don't build our own rockets to launch things. We've always partnered with mostly the United States, but also the Europeans and other commercial companies to get our stuff up into orbit, because that was just one piece of infrastructure we didn't have to develop because we lived next door to a company or a country that was doing all the space stuff. Unfortunately, with things changing, and with the world becoming so dependent on satellite technology, it's not an option anymore. It is something that countries need to be able to have access to space just to allow their citizens to live their everyday life. And so we need to be able to make sure that no matter what's going on in other countries and no matter what might be going on with different companies, we have that access to space. And that means building our own rockets that we can launch from Canadian soil.
So you talk about how important these satellites are just to our day-to-day life. Can you tell us some of those things they do? I know that might seem elementary, but I think a lot of us don't even know what sort of necessary services satellites supply to us.
Yeah, well, and it's really changed in the last little while. A lot of people are just getting their regular internet from satellite services like Starlink. Throughout rural Manitoba, for example, Starlink satellites is how you connect to the internet at all. So that's a huge one. If you've ever used GPS to navigate, if you've ever watched a game from Europe or somewhere else where the signal comes in on satellite, if you've got satellite TV, but also things like farmers using it to map out their fields and monitor the crops and figure out exactly where they need to do fertilizer and things like that. There's a lot of satellite technology used in agriculture here in Manitoba. There's a lot of satellite technology used in disaster management, monitoring forest fires, and forecasting the weather. Almost everything that we hear about on the news has satellites involved in it in some way.
And am I right, defense is also a big part of it as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was probably the push initially for satellites to be able to, see what's going on in other countries and to connect with your ships across the world and things like that. So defense is certainly a part of it, and that's where this funding for the Canadian Space Program is sort of coming for. It's not from the usual science and technology side. It's under the umbrella of defense.
So the spaceport is being developed in Nova Scotia. They're hoping to have it operational by the end of 2027. I'm wondering, is that going to change our night sky a lot, Scott? You spend a lot of your time looking at it. So are we going to see a lot more satellite activity as a result?
Well, we will see a lot of more satellite activity, but not because of Canadians. They're planning to launch perhaps 8 times a year from the Canadian site. The Starlink system put up 42 satellites yesterday, and they launch about every week. So there's a lot of stuff going up into space, and that is becoming a major problem with, space is big, but it's not infinite, at least the parts we want to put satellites in. And so that is becoming a problem. But this will be a very minor drop in the bucket. It just allows Canada to make sure that we're going to be able to launch that satellite that we need to monitor ice or fire or the environment when we need to.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Scott, as always, and providing all your insights.
No problem. Good to talk to you.
You as well.
Hello there, Kara Wagland in the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Thursday. And for it, we'll head to the National Hockey League for this one. As the Wild were taking on the Panthers, Minnesota on the power play. Loose puck goes to Marcus Johansson. But Danil Tarasov robs him of the goal. The Panthers' backup goalie sprawling with the pad stop. Smothers the rebound, one of his 47 saves from this one as he earns our must-see moment from Thursday. And coming up today on TSN, we got a full day of March Madness action for you. It's the men and women's Sweet 16. It all gets underway at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, right across your TSN network. That's all for now from Sports Center. Have a great day.
The TSN must-see moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
A man in Surrey, BC has created an entire army of wooden creatures hidden in his backyard.
Slow down, I pick stuff up and make these guys.
Bob Christie calls his workshop his play zone. That's where he makes his art, which he calls stumpies. They're figurines made out of wood he finds on the ground. They're not for sale either, and his army of hundreds is still growing. It's Friday, March 27th. Today, present but not necessarily welcome. Counselors react as a colleague accused of assault attends council's regular Thursday session. Election integrity, what provisions Ottawa hopes to enact to keep federal voting honest amid challenges from the technology and the improper influence of foreign entities. And a veteran hockey coach fights back with a lawsuit, saying his sudden and suspicious firing from his Toronto area squad should be whistled offside. Your Morning Winnipeg. Very much a Friday vibe here at Your Morning. Terry and I can't keep our hoots away because we're excited for the weekend. And we've got got a really fun segment coming up later this hour. What's your favorite Easter food, Terry? Putting you on
Pascha bread.
I was just thinking that. I love Pascha. I love like ham, but chocolate eggs, all those good things. But what's really great, we're going to have quite the treat for you if you see what I did there. We have this really great Brazilian business. They make all sorts of goodies, and they've got some really yummy sweets if you want to kind of shake things up at your Easter spread, maybe add some new eggs to your Easter egg hunt. They're going to have all the goodies. I'm hoping they're going to be giving us out some taste tests. So that's coming up at 8:45. Right now, though, Terry, looking outside, how are we shaping up?
Listen, it's Friday, so we have that to celebrate and not much more. Weather-wise, things still aren't looking good, and they still aren't feeling good. We're well below seasonal as we're wrapping up the work week. -12 is where we're sitting right now, but it feels more like -19, and that's because of the wind. 16 clicks out of the west this morning. We've still got the heavier clouds, a little bit of light snow. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 89%. So yeah, I've been saying keep the expectations low for today. Don't expect much of an improvement over yesterday. Yesterday we woke up to the snow. Seeing it again today, but then yesterday it kind of cleared out nicely. It looked nice. It really stayed well below seasonal as far as temperatures go, and that will likely be the case for us once again today. These clouds, they will eventually clear on out, taking the bit of light snow with them, so we will see a return to sunshine. It's just not going to be warming us up. And I should mention that that's more for southern Manitoba, because for northern Manitoba, heavier clouds, and you might even see some scattered precipitation as well. While it clears out today, we'll see some clouds rolling through in the overnight hours, but those two will be clearing out throughout Saturday. So Saturday we'll see a return to sunshine once again. And for Saturday and Sunday, we'll actually get some slightly milder temperatures. Back to seasonal? No, I don't want to get anybody too excited, but cracking the freezing mark, and that is a huge improvement over where we've been or where we're headed, because while the weekend will likely be just barely above freezing, 4 degrees is a normal daytime high, and we're falling further from that as we kick off next week with some scattered flurries expected on Monday. Cheria, thank you for your art today. Beautiful mountains. I love what you've done, and we'd love to see more of your art. So keep sharing that with us. Now we want you to go to our website to do that, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. There's a form there to fill out. You'll have your art showcased here on TV if it's selected, but you'll also have a chance to enter to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Kenniston.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery. Make memories that last forever.
Thanks, Terry. A defiant Russ Wyatt arrived at City Hall Thursday for his first council meeting since being charged with sexual assault. A move making it clear the city councillor isn't taking the mayor's advice to step aside.
Morning, guys. Good morning. How's it going? Morning. Good. How are you?
Are you intending to continue your...
Councillor, why are you here today, sir?
Excuse me. I'm going to my council meeting. Thank you.
Why are you here today? What do you have to say to the people of Transcona?
My attorney, Mr. Evan Wright, for any questions.
What happened as far as the arrest is concerned? Can you tell us about that?
Again, I'd ask you to talk to my attorney.
Councillor Wyatt arrived in good spirits, directing any questions from reporters about the sexual assault charges against him to his lawyer, Evan Reutenberg. Our cameras were inside the council chamber for Thursday's regular meeting, where Wyatt didn't shy away from speaking with fellow councillors. He could be seen sharing a few words with Brian Mays and Devi Sharma before the meeting got underway. However, at least a couple of his colleagues told us they were disappointed to see Wyatt there.
The ward work will continue. He's got an assistant. Again, this is a big distraction. I think he should step back and let the rest of us do the work.
I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed in Councillor Wyatt you know, regardless of the outcome, to put yourself in a position like this where we're having to deal with this now. It's public. City councillors should be held to a higher standard.
Now, all of the councillors who weighed in on this agree that Wyatt deserves his day in court. They just want him to take a step back until then. On Wednesday, Wyatt's lawyer said his client is innocent. A reminder, the allegations against Wyatt have not been proven in court, and Wyatt is presumed innocent. Ottawa is proposing new legislation to strengthen the integrity of elections, with plans to clamp down on the growing challenges of technology and foreign interference.
Violating Canada's electoral integrity is a serious act that requires meaningful consequences. And so we are giving the Commissioner of Canada Elections additional tools for effective compliance and enforcement.
The legislation known as the Strong and Free Elections Act seeks to amend the Canada Elections Act. It would include closing channels to foreign and anonymous funding, introducing new privacy policy requirements for federal political parties, and banning deepfake videos of candidates. The government says the bill aims to protect against foreign influence, threats, and intimidation. Taking a look at the current traffic situation around Donald Street, bit of a lineup there. Folks are ready to get in for Friday work. Of course, if you have any traffic tips or updates to share, you can always text them to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
I know the kids are counting down the hours until spring break, but Ainsley McPhail's already enjoying it over at the Manitoba Children's Museum. Ainsley, you guys are having a lot of fun this morning.
Oh, we absolutely are. I'm like going, okay, 8:30, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay, about 7 hours. I was never good at math. I'm with the kids, ready for spring break, totally. And it's not just about crafts, because there's things that will get you moving as well. Brady.
100%. So we got a lot of physical literacy groups coming in as well. So we got gym kids coming in for some gymnastics fun as well later in the week. We have fit kids, healthy kids coming in as well. And then to end spring break with a shimmy and a spin, we do have drop-in dance coming as well on the Sunday, next Sunday to be specific. So a lot of physical things to do as well here at the Children's Museum.
What does that look like? Did they just run them through different dances, like different genres?
Yeah, so generally we're going to have kind of staggered classes throughout the day in our Great Hall area, just throughout the day, usually about every half an hour to an hour, just a kind of a dance party and a dance class for the kids, yeah.
Well, and you know what? It's not that I'm against crafts. I just was the child that couldn't sit still for long enough to do them. But for the kids who can, tons of options.
Oh yeah, exactly. Even for when we have our the drop-in dance coming, we have a dance ribbon craft as well going on, but we got an assortment, some animal mask crafts, we got some awesome pine cone crafts, some Lego stamp crafts when we have the Lego group in Manitoba coming in, so just a very wide assortment of things to do, not only with our guests, but also activities and crafts.
I can't remember. Were we doing the science one again today? I'm just so eager.
Oh yeah, we'll be doing it last, don't worry.
Okay, last one. All right, I gotta be patient. Patience is a virtue. Oh, exactly. I want to pull together these two because kids love Lego, and you guys are combining Lego and art.
Exactly. So we got some Lego blocks there, and while we have the Lego group here to display Lego creations, kids can also create their own stamps to make their own artistic creations as well at the same time. So just a good wide assortment of things to do.
What are some frequently asked questions that parents have?
Yeah, so usually it's just about where they can buy tickets. You can buy them online. It's a great resource to use. You can also just come down as a walk-in and buy them at admissions as well. Another good thing to do is if you want to come multiple times during the week, you can also get a membership. It's a really good value.
You might have to buy a pink one again because I accidentally put the blue on the pink.
Oh,
so
mixing colors. It's creativity. That's what we want to see.
I'm sorry about that. Okay. 8:38. Something's going to blow up.
Ainsley, you're making a mess down there before spring breaks even started. Just kidding. You guys are having a lot of fun. We'll check in with you a little bit later. A Toronto hockey coach whose grandfather was a trailblazing black hockey player is fighting back after he was fired from his position. As CTV's John Woodward reports, his lawsuit says to get rid of their coach, the team invented a parent complaint and the parent as well.
You're going to pick the puck up.
Rayne Carnegie is at home on the ice coaching up-and-coming AAA hockey players, sharing what he learned from his time in the Quebec Maritimes Junior Hockey League. And what he learned from his grandfather, Herb Carnegie, a black player denied a chance to play in the NHL, though was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2022.
I tried to follow in his footsteps, and my son's on the ice right now trying to follow in both of our footsteps.
But much of that was derailed late last year when Carnegie was fired as a coach by the Toronto Titans.
I just got blindsided by it, and ultimately I still don't clearly understand why that happened.
His lawsuit says tension started in August when one coach told Carnegie's 13-year-old son he had dreamt of hitting him with a hockey stick. Carnegie complained to the Titans, which alerted the Ontario Hockey Federation, which determined the coach's comment was a violation of its rules. A few months later, Carnegie was the subject of a complaint from a parent calling themselves Rick Jones, and the Titans suspended him. The OHF found that complaint without merit, saying the entire matter originated from someone identified as Rick Jones. This person has never been identified. Team parents say they've never heard of Rick Jones.
Then we're like, who is it, Rick Jones? There's nobody on the team.
The lawsuit alleges alleges that Rick Jones' complaint was fabricated and was just a pretext to remove Carnegie from his coaching position. The Titans didn't respond to any questions from CTV News. In court filings, they don't identify Rick Jones either, but specifically deny that any decisions made with regard to the plaintiff were made as retribution. Carnegie says he looks to his grandfather for strength to carry on.
That's the biggest thing for me as a father, is if I didn't take this stance, what does that show my children?
Continuing to train his son and many of the players from his former team in the Toronto hockey rink that bears his grandfather's name. John Woodward, CTV News.
Looking now through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. All right, nothing fun about looking outside to see the gray, misty, overcast conditions and the light snow that's still falling. Yes, a fresh dusting is what you're waking up to this morning. Very similar to yesterday, but I think very similar to yesterday, we will see more of that sunshine into the afternoon as the day goes on. The clouds that are here through the south will begin to clear. As far as temperatures go, though, we're going to remain well below seasonal. -11 seems to be the average through the southeast. A little bit cooler in the southwest. Brandon coming in at -13. Dauphin -16. Just for a reference point, -7. That would be a normal low for this time of year across the south. And then there's northern Manitoba, and suddenly it doesn't seem so bad here in the south because northern Manitoba is waking up to low to mid -20s or high -20s. Oh, there's Churchill warming up in real time from -28 to -27 now. At least you are making those gains, but you're probably not seeing much in the way of sunshine. Heavier clouds right into northern Manitoba, and wind chill values in the high -30s or low -30s for some, but still, you've got to bundle up. Although even here, throw those extra layers on. I've got the parka on again today and not mad about that choice. The extra clouds come with the snow, but they will eventually be clearing out. We will see a little more sunshine into the afternoon today. By the time kids are coming home from school, woo, spring break. Remember, they're going to let out with all of the excitement and forget about the fact that it is well below seasonal. -7, I mentioned, being a normal low, and that might be where we're at by the time the bus picks the kids up. -6 as our high for today. Weekend does look a little bit better with a little more sunshine and some plus digits. Not quite the seasonal 4 degrees, but at least above the freezing mark. Not for long. Heavier clouds, some scattered snow to kick off next week. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Oil is pushing higher as traders brace for the Iran war to stretch into April, and attacks continue across the Middle East, with transit through the critical Strait of Hormuz still largely halted. President Donald Trump pushing back a deadline for striking Iran's energy structure by 10 days, prolonging uncertainty over the course of the war well into next month. Now, the extension allows more time for talks, but also for the U.S. to amass additional forces in the region. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the Pentagon is looking at sending as many as 10,000 extra ground troops. Beyond oil, the Middle East conflict is fueling fears of a shortage of helium, a byproduct of liquefied natural gas production that is critical for semiconductors, aerospace applications, and high-end medical equipment. Qatar is the major supplier and is limiting deliveries. The medical sector is on alert as magnetic resonance imaging, MRI machines, depend on liquid helium to cool their superconducting magnets, and a supply crunch could jeopardize diagnostic services. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Loading up our Easter basket with all of the ideas to make this holiday a little more festive. Andriana Gonco is joining us, host of the Juggle is Real podcast. Good to see you again, Andriana.
Good morning, Terry. So good to see you. And yes, you know, Easter is such a joyful holiday, and it's still a little chilly in Manitoba. I'm just right next to you in Northern Ontario. It's cold. We've got snow, but some of the most meaningful memories come from these traditions that we keep year after year.
Let's get into it then, because you've got kids all around you, from your own to the nieces and nephews, and you're really going to make this a special holiday. So share with us how you're going to do that.
Yes, well, Easter traditions is really at the heart of it. And I always say that the best traditions are simple, they are repeatable, and they feel special. It's the things that families look forward to year after year. And of course, we were just talking, chocolate is a big part of the tradition. And I mean, the most recognizable symbol for Easter in our family is the iconic Lindt Gold Bunny. It has the unmistakable gold foil, the red ribbon, and I don't know if my mic picks this up, but it has the golden bell. And it really is like that perfect thing for gifting. for our family. It symbolizes joy and quality and just like the making Easter sparkle in our house.
It is an iconic look, right? I mean, you see that bunny and it just, okay, Easter is here. Let me get into that, right? Let's talk about some of the ways that we're going to make it maybe a little more festive.
That's right, and this is where we can have a lot of fun. Now, I love a beautiful, festive Easter tablescape. Tulips are one of my favorite flowers.
Yes.
So if you are setting the table for a brunch or a dinner, an Easter meal, let me suggest placing one of the Lindt gold bunnies at each place setting. Now, it's just a festive way to add a little bit of sparkle, and it's a great little gift for guests to take home. This year, there's a 50-gram white chocolate gold bunny that you can try. Another thing you could do, of course, we've got our egg hunts. Everyone loves their Easter egg hunts. A new twist and a little bit of an upgrade are the Gold Bunny bite-sized Easter bags. Now, it comes in a double milk. It comes in a hazelnut. These are pre-packaged, but it's a little bunny, so you can hide it around your house if you're doing something in your yard. I also love to put it in a decorative bowl, put it on a console table or a coffee table if I'm having guests. Just these little ways that we can add some sparkle. The last thing I want to mention is the Lindor white chocolate carrot cake truffles. So unique. This is new this year. It has a smooth white chocolate shell with a creamy carrot cake flavored center. Wonderful, again, for entertaining, for sharing, for gifting. You can find the full Easter collection at lindt.ca, at Lindt chocolate shops around you, and at select retailers all across Manitoba.
Okay, I definitely need to get my hands on that little carrot cake flavored one. That sounds amazing. But you also say don't wait until Easter, right? The fun starts now.
Yes, you know what? We want to hop into our Easter celebration, start that festive spirit. And back this year is the Lindt Digital Gold Bunny Hide and Seek. This is a lot of fun. You can hop into the world of the Gold Bunny by visiting lindt-gold-bunny.ca. It is an interactive mixed reality game where you can look for hidden bunnies all throughout the Gold Bunny's house. And a grand prize this year, a year's supply of Lindt chocolate. That is definitely going to make your Easter sparkle. So you could head to lindt-gold-bunny.ca to play and enter to win.
Bury me in a life supply of chocolate. Yes, please. Andriana, thanks so much for joining us today, and all the best. Happy Easter to you.
Thanks. Happy Easter, Terry.
Get ready to join some of your favorite pups. Paw Patrol Live, a mighty adventure, is coming to the Centennial Concert Hall on April 4th with 3 performances, 10:30 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5:30 p.m. And this is your last chance to win a pass for 4 in a Your Morning Winnipeg contest. The live stage performance follows favorite characters in the animated preschool series Paw Patrol. The rescue dogs must face off against a supervillain scientist who places the city's biggest party in danger. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca. Don't forget to enter the keyword adventure. Good luck.
All right, it's Friday. We're all excited about the weekend, and for some, excited about spring break extending that weekend. As far as the weather goes, though, there's really not a whole lot to get excited about, and I'm sorry to have to be the bearer of bad news. Right now, we're still dealing with the snow. It's falling lightly. The fresh dusting has perhaps made things very, very slick out on streets and sidewalks, so just keep that in mind. -11 feels more like -20 this morning, and that's with a 25K wind now out of the northwest. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 83%. Still with the heavier clouds hanging over us, and still with that light bit of snow falling, that should taper off before long and the sky will clear. We'll see increasing amounts of sunshine through the afternoon and into the evening time. Not the case, though, up in the far northern part of the province. Some heavier clouds will linger there, maybe even a bit of light snow. And yes, for everybody, no matter where you are, northern Manitoba right down into the south, expect those temperatures today to be well below seasonal. We'll get some improvements for the weekend. They're not going to be drastic. They're not even going to take us back up to what is normal for this time of year, but we might crack the freezing mark. A little bit of sunshine Saturday and Sunday, and some low plus digits on the way. Next week, though, those temperatures, they actually start to slip off again, and we could even be seeing more snow on Monday as the mercury begins to dip even further by Tuesday. Our weather picture, though, today is a great reminder to have fun in that fresh snow. Look at little Deeks living his best life out there. Thanks to Terry for sharing the photo with us. And keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
We're learning a little bit about heat pumps today. Justin Rowan is an energy efficiency analyst, joining us today from Efficiency Manitoba. So let's talk a little bit about heat pumps today. Apparently there's a couple of different kinds, so explain a little bit about them.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you so much for having me. Ground source heat pumps and air source heat pumps are two of the most energy efficient ways to provide both heating and cooling for your household. An air source heat pump works by transferring the heat between your house and the outside air, while ground source heat pump uses the stable temperature below the ground in order to provide energy efficient heating and cooling. Because these devices are transferring heat rather than generating it themselves, they're significantly more energy efficient than traditional heating systems, meaning you're going to be saving money on your energy bill while making your home more comfortable.
Okay, and depending on the type of home you have would make a difference as to which type of air pump you need.
That's correct, right. So for customers in rural Manitoba where there's more space, a ground source heat pump would be the recommendation, whereas customers in the city would likely get an air source heat pump.
All right. You're actually going to be helping people access this technology. How are you doing that?
Yeah, so through our Energy Efficiency Assistance Program, income qualifying customers are able to access free and subsidized energy efficiency upgrades. That can include a free insulation upgrade. If they're a natural gas customer and they don't already have a high efficiency natural gas furnace, they're eligible to upgrade to one for a subsidized cost. And if they have electric heating in their household, they would be eligible for one of those free heat pumps. So again, based on location, you'd be eligible for either an air source or a ground source heat pump through our program. So those are some of the ways that we help people save money.
Okay, what does this process look like? Is this like a huge endeavor people are taking on?
Actually, we streamline the process a lot.
Okay.
So the process starts with the free home energy checkup. An energy advisor goes to the property and they do an assessment of your existing insulation and your heating system while providing you with some free energy saving devices. If you're eligible for a heat pump, we would ensure that your insulation upgrades are completed prior to getting the heat pump done so that the heat pump can be properly sized for the property. Again, we use registered contractors with our program that invoice us directly for the full cost of these upgrades, so that really helps streamline the process for customers.
So you're really kind of with them every step of the way, helping make it easy, right? And then, of course, the benefit of having that more efficient home when it's all said and done.
Absolutely. Okay. And if there's any questions along the way, we're always happy to help.
Well, we love to hear that. Now, if anybody maybe is listening to this and wants to find out more, how do they do that?
So the best way to find us would be to go to efficiencymb.ca/EEAP. There you can find the income thresholds to participate for our program, alternate forms for income verification, what all of our upgrades and retrofits that are eligible through the program are, as well as how they can participate. If they have any questions, we're able to help them throughout that process as well.
Lovely. It really does sound like a fantastic program. So thanks for joining us today and sharing all about it.
Thank you.
Looking for inspiration on your home projects? Well, Your Morning Winnipeg has a contest that could help. The Winnipeg Home and Garden Show runs April 9th to the 12th at the RBC Convention Center, and we've got a few prizes to give away. One grand prize winner will walk away with a $1,000 gift card, 4 tickets to the show with VIP seating, plus a meet and greet with Brian Baumler. There's also 2 prizes of $500 gift cards with tickets to be won. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca. Don't forget to enter the keyword garden. Good luck. Portage Avenue, not bad in terms of our traffic volume. There's a nice Friday gift for you. We're going to drive on into a break. So much more on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
Minus 11, some heavier clouds still hanging around. A little bit of light snow still falling from those clouds. A bit of a breeze that's picked up now. 25 clicks out of the northwest, and suddenly minus 11 feels more like minus 20. Oof. Pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 83%. It's not the ideal start to a morning that we'd like to see, but as we're rolling into the end of March, we should be well above these temperatures. But we're not, so we take what we get, and that this morning is some light snow. This, though, won't be lasting too much longer yet. You can see how the clouds are already beginning to move out of the way, and we will see the snow tapering off, the sky clearing out, and a little more sunshine to enjoy through the afternoon. However, the caveat. The temperatures, they're well below normal. Minus 7 is a normal low. Minus 6, that's likely as mild as it'll get for us today. And then dropping off a little bit overnight. And as it clears through the daytime, we'll see some clouds moving in overnight. Dropping down to minus 10, but we'll do it all over again tomorrow. Maybe not with the snow having to taper off, but the sky clearing out. And this time around, some slightly better temperatures are expected. So 2 degrees. Now, It's still not quite normal for this time of year because +4 would actually be a seasonal daytime high. And we're not going to be there for the weekend, but we will be at least above the freezing mark, which compared to this past week, that's a huge improvement. And compared to next week, it's an improvement because we're not going to stay there. Flurries kick off Monday. The temperatures start to slide, even more so once those flurries taper off. Eventually, we'll see a return to those plus-digit temperatures, but it is going to take some time before we're back up above the freezing mark again.
Thanks, Terry. Sentencing for the man who just pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the 2007 killing of a Manitoba Métis woman is being held over until later today. 44-year-old Kevin Q was set to be sentenced Thursday in the death of 24-year-old Crystal Saunders. However, a judge ordered it be postponed until today, as Saunders' mother indicated she wanted to enter in a victim impact statement but didn't have one prepared. Q was arrested in 2024 and was originally charged with second-degree murder. The case had gone cold for years, but court heard a break came in 2015 after Q was convicted in a sexual assault case, which led to his DNA being entered into a national bank. Both the Crown and defense are recommending a 12-year sentence. Winnipeg City Councillors have allowed a plan to improve safety on Wellington Crescent to move forward with some amendments.
This amendment puts the simplest and most immediate steps that were left out of the Public Works discussion and the EPC discussion, those immediate steps back in. And that's why it should give this council comfort.
The amended motion directs the Public Service to find a consultant to draw up plans for a permanent bike lane solution for Wellington Crescent, using feedback from the public. And while it doesn't include plans for a pilot or interim infrastructure, it'll see the speed limit lowered to 40 kilometers an hour on Wellington from Academy Road to River Avenue, along with stretches of River Avenue and Stradbrook Avenue. Another clause, which would have restricted left turns at several intersections, did not pass. Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada isn't done yet after hitting NATO's 2% spending target.
Over the next decade, Canada will unleash $500 billion. I'll repeat, $500 billion in defense and defense-related investment.
The Prime Minister was speaking yesterday after announcing $3 billion in new infrastructure and defense spending for Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. This spending will include items like new submarines, aircraft, drones, radar, and other equipment. And even after spending more than $60 billion on defense last year, Canada's military remains short about 15,000 soldiers. Looking ahead, Canada will need to spend more to meet NATO's new target of 5% GDP. Might be hard to fathom what kind of impact that kind of money has on transforming the military. CTV's Mike LeCouture went to CFB Petawa to put it into perspective.
Without the military, this town really doesn't have a full-fledged economy.
It's why Richard McNish is welcoming news that Canada met its NATO spending target. The former member of the Canadian Armed Forces has spent most of his life in Petawawa, and now he runs a business in the military town. But all of that experience has also left him skeptical.
They'll say one thing, but then another is done. Hopefully, this comes through.
In 2014, $20 billion of military spending got the country to 1% of GDP. 10 years later, it was doubled, but still fell short. In the last fiscal year, nearly another $20 billion hit the target. However, the new goal would be to spend $150 billion. A part of that is the pay raise to military members.
More money in the pockets equals more purchasing power, which drives more activity and presence in their local communities.
Last month, the federal government earmarked $3.7 billion to build 6,000 new military homes, 1,000 in Petawawa.
Oh, no problem.
Something this restaurant owner believes will help the community.
A healthy military, it will make a healthy town.
Now, other than the housing money, it's unclear how the budget for CFB Petawawa will be affected. But a spokesperson for the Department of National Defense tells CTV News they could have more to say on that in a few weeks. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Petawawa, Ontario.
Taking a look at the current traffic situation at Kenniston Boulevard. It's pretty busy along the stretch, crawling with activities on this Friday. Meanwhile, if you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400. Taking a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average stands at $1.72. Provincial average is at $1.66. In Winnipeg, the average slightly higher at $1.67, and the lowest price in the city is $1.50. All this information is on gasbuddy.com. Time now for the answers to your question of the day. We asked, what is your favorite old building in Winnipeg? The Bay shared a viewer, and it's undergoing a major transformation too. Thanks for sending that one in. Ralph likes the Manitoba Club. So many great memories there for him. Susan absolutely loves the Seven Oaks Museum. Never been, Susan. Should put it on my list. The Masonic Temple for Nicole. Again, the Seven Oaks House Museum for Kelly. She says it is absolutely stunning. Marlene likes Hotel for Gary. I do too. Becky says the Manitoba Legislature, hands down. Sandy's fave building in Winnipeg is the big church on Maryland Street, and the Old Mount Royal Hotel on Higgins for Miles. And Mark's favorite old building in Winnipeg is the Hudson Bay Company Store on Portage Avenue. Thanks everyone for your responses.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic. Science-backed body contouring.
Ainsley is reconnecting with her inner child this morning at the Manitoba Children's Museum. A person of any age, young at heart, has the best time down there, Ainsley, and you guys just seem to be having one as well.
It's a total blast. They're hitting a 40-year milestone this year, and spring break is this week, so it's perfect to kill all the birds with all the stones. Brady, thank you so much for being here today. Tell us about what's going on for spring break.
Yeah, so just a recap, we got events and activities going all week on from this coming Saturday all the way to next Sunday. An assortment of guests ranging from Wildlife Rehabilitation Center talking about animals to some physical literacy guests like drop-in dance and gym kids, healthy kids, or fit kids, healthy kids rather, and just a very wide assortment for everybody to have fun.
Lots of crafts. We'll get to that in a moment. But if they come to the museum, there's some upgrades.
100%. So probably not quite at spring break, but we do have a fan favorite exhibit coming back. We did hear from everybody, so that will be coming up, and should have an announcement soon. So if you want to just keep checking on our website, I think everybody will be very happy about this exhibit coming back. So keep an eye out for that.
I love that. And for 40 years, the milestone that we mentioned, there's a array of activities and things that you want people to know about and support.
100%. So we're going to have a bunch of activities over the summer, combining part of our traveling exhibit, which we will have coming as well, and 40th anniversary activities as well, and our fundraising gala in September. So we have kind of a wide variety of celebrations going on for our 40th anniversary.
Something super cool is obviously you're getting the kids moving. They can move around this space. That's what I love about it too. But there's crafts set up.
Oh yeah, always crafts going on. We have stuff ranging from animal masks to pinecone owls to stamping Lego to make your own creations and stamps. We really want to nurture that creativity with the children and parents to get involved as well too.
When you chat with the parents, what's their feedback been like?
Usually pretty good. I mean, you know, we're a really good safe space for kids to kind of show off their creativity and have some fun, and you know, especially just being that safe space indoors, especially when it's still this chilly out, is a big plus for parents.
I hate that, but I love that they can come here. I'm just projecting. Okay, we're almost out of time.
Exactly.
And I told you I wanted to do this.
I'll do this one more time.
I lied to the audience earlier, and I said we're going to blow something up, but it's just little.
Exactly.
It's a lot smaller.
And then if I add this.
Okay. There we go. Have a good Friday. It's almost spring break, kids.
Ah, that looked fun. All right, it is almost spring break. Thanks, Ainsley. Okay, checking up on the rooftop with Terry. If folks aren't headed out of town for spring break, what has Mother Nature got in store for them?
Well, depending on where they're headed, maybe sunshine and sand. Here's the thing. If you're sticking around Manitoba, you're going to be in for some cold temperatures, because no matter where you are, this is not just an exclusive to Winnipeg thing by no means. In fact, northern Manitoba, things have been so much colder colder than here in the south. And I know we've been complaining about being below seasonal. These trends will continue still for a stretch of days. Even with the slight warm up we're expecting over the weekend, we're still not making it back up to what is normal for this time of year. -11 though, that's where we sit right now with still some very light snow falling. -20 is what it feels like as those winds have increased. 25 clicks now out of the northwest. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 83%. It should eventually look a little bit sunnier and brighter. In fact, I'm already beginning to see some clouds breaking up a little more blue sky into the afternoon as these clouds clear and the snow from this morning tapers off. For the weekend, we are hopeful for some plus digits here in the south. You might not get there for northern Manitoba, but southern Manitoba might begin to see this fresh, pristine snow turn all sludgy and brown again, because plus digits mean messy, but it also means warmer, and that's what we're in for the weekend. Just above the freezing mark, not by much, Saturday and Sunday. But we could get another round of fresh snow into the start of next week, Monday, and some slightly cooler temperatures to follow that. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Health officials in Newfoundland are warning of the risks of extreme workouts after a spike in hospitalizations from a potentially life-threatening condition. CTV's Garrett Berry explains.
With just weeks to go, 27-year-old Kyra Fancy should be focusing on her July wedding. But recent warnings of sudden increases in rhabdomyolysis cases have brought back awful memories.
When I got off the bike, actually, I fell to the floor, my legs buckled beneath me.
It was her very first spin class, December 2023. She didn't want to fall behind the rest of the group.
Embarrassed, and I was like, I can't stop. So I just forced myself, because I was like, the worst thing that could happen is I'm just going to tear my muscle.
What followed? 5 days of intense pain. When the pain didn't go away and she did go to the hospital, she stayed there for almost a week.
I couldn't understand how that led to me possibly like dying, is how he was saying it.
This kind of exercise-induced rhabdomyolysis is what doctors are seeing more and more in Newfoundland and Labrador, and health officials say the majority of those recent cases have been found in young women.
The body responds to a stress in a strange way, where the muscle fibers break down and quickly release their contents into the bloodstream, and this can cause some catastrophic problems.
Physiologist Joe Cannon says unusual and repetitive activities will increase the risk of rhabdomyolysis. Spin classes have been put under the microscope since the health warning was issued. Jill Whalen, coach and owner of Elevate Movement Club, says classes can and should be delivered safely with trained coaches.
The reason why, for example, this room for spin is laid out the way it is so that the coach can make contact with every single individual in the room.
She says both coaches and participants should be doing more to ensure everybody is safe. Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
Easter is fast approaching. Well, traditional feasts to celebrate the occasion can include ham, pasca, and of course, chocolate bunnies and eggs, my favorite. But if you're looking to add a few new treats to your spread, upgrade things a little, a local Brazilian business has a couple ideas. Joining me now to share more, we're joined by Cheyenne Figueiredo. She is the owner of and founder of Villa Brazil Kitchen. Cheyenne, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Good morning.
You are like a brand new baby business. 3 months you've been working at this, and you said this is kind of came out of a bit of homesickness because you're from Brazil and a love of bringing people together.
Exactly. So Villa Brazil Kitchen is a dream coming true. It started from my passion from Brazilian food and also the desire to share a piece of Brazil in Winnipeg. And as an immigrant living abroad, there are some days that you do feel homesick more than usual. So I do believe that food can fix almost anything. Food can bring people together. There is that, it brings memories back. So I do believe that Villa Brazil Kitchen comes into play in that aspect, that can offer some authentic Brazilian flavors and can also also offer some full experience to those that had never tried Brazilian food.
Well, I'm a convert just looking at what you brought in here. So you have a bunch of Easter-centric kind of goodies. So take us through what you've brought in today.
Of course. When it comes to food, Brazilians can be very creative. So we do have our own twist of chocolate Easter eggs. We do have our spoonable Easter egg cake, Easter egg chocolate cake, egg, sorry. So we do have our full-size version. This one is Kinder. It's filled with milk, powder brigadeiro, and some Kinder and Nutella. We do have the mini version, which is a trio. If you are indecisive of which flavor you want, you can try other ones. We have strawberry, we have passion fruit, and honey cake.
And what are these little like chocolate kind of centers there? They're like almost look like gold.
Yeah, they're chocolate coins, right? So
cool.
they were made with our logo, so pretty much they're all edible. And so yeah, and we do have our mini trio it's mostly for gifting. They have a surprise inside. They come with cookie cream or dark chocolate or milk chocolate.
This looks to be a bit of a scene stealer. In fact, I'm just going to steal them right off. Are these truffles? Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah, so it's our famous brigadeiro, that's what's called. So it's a chocolate truffle. So Brazil has our traditional chocolate one, which is the bottom row. But we do have our own twist for our brigadeiros. We do have coconut, we do have milk powder Nutella, and we do have other ones that, we keep giving our twist to our own flavors.
Do you have a favorite one of this bunch?
I do like the toasted coconut.
Yeah, I think I've got my eye on that one too.
Yeah, because it's a mix of the chocolate and the toasted coconut is the best combination for myself.
It's so beautiful. So
thank you.
This is obviously very Easter, but you have a ton of other things kind of that you're constantly cooking up year round. So for those who've maybe never had Brazilian food or those like yourself missing Brazilian food, what can they find?
So yeah, we have also salgadinhos, which is pretty much croquettes that are usually in every gathering in Brazil. We do have that selection. We are planning to expand in April more selections. We do bring every other week other traditional dishes as well. So stay tuned and definitely keep an eye on us. We have every time we have something new coming up.
We can follow you on social media, I hope.
Yes, we do. We are on Instagram and there is our website as well.
Wonderful. So for folks whose mouths are watering like my own, how can we find you?
Yeah, we are on Instagram, so Villa Brazil Kitchen, and also our website is www.villabrazilkitchen.ca.
Oh, so no storefront order there?
No, yeah,
gotcha.
We use a commercial kitchen and then we bring takeout or delivery at this point.
Awesome.
For now.
Well, for now, I imagine if people have one bite of this, you're going to be very busy, so maybe a storefront is in your future. But honestly, ghost kitchens are kind of the future.
Yes.
So it's incredible what you're able to produce. All right, well, we will leave it there. Thank you so much, Cheyenne. These look delicious.
Thank you.
Oh, we are salivating. Yes, what a lovely treat to kick things off on this cold Friday morning. We are still dealing with these well below seasonal temperatures and will for at least another day, although even for the weekend will remain below seasonal, but we will see improvements from where we've been. It's -11 right now and it feels like -20. Still some very light and scattered snow falling and a bit of a breeze that's increased now 25 clicks out of the northwest with the pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 83%. And we do still have those heavier clouds hanging around as well, but they should be clearing out as that happens. Increasing amounts of sunshine, just not a lot more heat. I mentioned will remain below seasonal, a high of just -6 today, closer to a seasonal low of -7 than a normal daytime high of +4. Yeah, that would be normal for this time of year, and we will get closer to that this weekend. 2 degrees, 1 degree, at least pushing above the freezing mark. Not for long, though. Monday of next week, more flurries, back below the freezing mark, and those temperatures will be slipping off another few degrees from there. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Okay, let's wrap things up with an Australian dog known as a hero and a very good boy who is now hanging up his collar. The 11-year-old Australian coolie is credited with saving more than 100 koalas from wildfires. He's now retiring after a decade of service. So I didn't know this. He's one of the first dogs to be trained on the scent of koala fur, and that helps him protect them during wildfire season. His handlers say he's retiring to a life of belly rubs and playing fetch. I should say he's earned it.
Well deserved.
No kidding. And an animal rescue society in northern BC is sharing a successful rescue story. The little guy was found near Kamloops on Sunday. Some people living in the area made the discovery and monitored him overnight, eventually called the Northern Lights Wildlife Society. The Wildlife Society says the 3-pound male cub will now stay with them until next spring. Aww. Pretty cute. A Canadian scientist has witnessed an extremely rare moment in nature. Take a look at this. Shane Garrow and his team captured the birth of a sperm whale off the coast of Dominica. Shortly after the calf was born, it was lifted above the water by a group of female whales. They were working to help the newborn swim. A couple hours later, most of the whales left the calf with its family. Garrow's team will keep going through the footage to learn more about the whales group dynamics. They're like, you got this. We're gone. Harder with a sperm whale to do that. That's going to do it for us. Have a great weekend.